My child, do not scroll. Do not swipe. I've waited too long to say this, and you've waited too long to hear it. This moment is not an accident. This message is not random. It's a divine dispatch, crafted by my spirit, carried through time, and placed in front of your eyes right now because it's time. Time for truth. Time for clarity. Time for me to tell you everything. You felt the pressure. You sensed the silence. You've carried questions that no one could answer. But I'm about to open my mouth, and when I do, nothing in your life will stay the same. Don't just listen, linger. Don't just watch, witness. Because hidden inside these next few minutes are the keys to why it's been so hard and why it's about to shift. I'm not just speaking, I'm summoning you. And by the time we reach the end, you'll understand why this was never just a video, it was a visitation. My beloved child, pause. Let your soul catch its breath. Let your spirit become still enough to hear me, not just with your ears but with your entire being. I have waited for this second with more anticipation than you could ever imagine. While you wandered through days where everything felt like delay, I was watching the clock of eternity tick toward this appointed hour. You are not here by mistake. This moment, this breath, this word you're reading right now is not the result of chance, scrolling, or coincidence. It is the unfolding of a divine orchestration, set into motion before you were even formed in your mother's womb. I drew you here not simply to comfort you, but to deliver something I've held in sacred stillness, a truth too deep for casual moments, a revelation reserved only for the ones who endured long enough to receive it. This message carries the weight of divine timing, and I am stepping forward now because you are finally ready. Not perfect, not polished, but present. Present enough to receive the fullness of what I've longed to pour into your heart. Heaven has leaned low for this conversation, and I, the God of your yesterday, today, and tomorrow, have silenced everything else in this moment to speak with you face to face. I've watched you misinterpret the stillness. You asked if I was ignoring you. You feared you were overlooked. But I have never once turned my face from you. I have been sitting with you in the silence, watching your spirit mature through the ache, grow through the uncertainty, and sharpen through the shadows. I could have spoken sooner. I could have revealed more earlier. But what I held back, I held not out of cruelty but out of carefulness. My words are never casual. My voice carries the weight of worlds. And what I have to say to you now needed the soil of your surrender, the readiness of your heart, the tenderness of your ache. I was waiting for the moment when you would no longer need signs, when your desperation for truth would finally outweigh your craving for comfort. And now here you are, wide open, still trembling but finally listening. And child, that's all I've needed. Not strength, not answers, just an open heart willing to receive. This is the second I've reserved on heaven's calendar to uncover what's been hidden, to illuminate what's been blurry, and to restore what's been slowly eroded by delay. This message, this divine unfolding, is not just encouragement. It's the beginning of an unveiling. I'm not speaking in riddles. I'm not hiding behind symbols. I am here, and I am telling you everything. My beloved child, listen to me with the weight of your soul resting in my hands. The pause was never punishment. The delay was never disinterest. Every second of silence was soaked in my patience, my protection, my preparation. I've been holding something in my heart, something luminous, weighty, holy, and I couldn't give it to you until your heart was strong enough not to shatter under its truth. This isn't a secret I kept from you. This is a treasure I kept for you. I waited for your heart to be steady enough to carry what I've longed to release. The reason your spirit has been stirred lately, the restlessness, the tears, the strange pressure in the quiet places, is because the time has come. I can no longer delay. I have waded through your wandering, sat silently in your sorrow, and watched you stretch your faith through nights that had no answers. And now, child, I have reached the threshold of divine necessity. I must speak. I must reveal. I must unfold what your spirit has already sensed, that something monumental is moving from heaven toward your life. You see, my voice carries glory. My words weigh more than gold. They do not return to me empty, and they do not enter on ready soil. I've seen how the pressure pressed you. I've watched how the crushing crushed what you thought you needed and carved out the capacity I always knew was there. The pain wasn't for nothing, and prepared you. The isolation wasn't rejection, it was insulation. I've been protecting the sacred from the sabotage of premature exposure. Some revelations are too royal to be given while you still look for validation from voices that don't carry my spirit. Some instructions are too intimate to be whispered while your heart is still entangled with comparison. So I waited. Not because I was silent, but because I was serious. I do not hand out holy blueprints in chaotic atmospheres. But now your surroundings have been stripped, your senses sharpened, and your soul settled. And because of that, I can trust you with what others would misuse. I can unveil what you would not idolize. I can show you the thing that will shift everything, because you are finally still enough to steward it. And make no mistake, what I'm about to say is not lightweight. It is not a simple word of encouragement or a motivational echo. It is divine direction, a thunderous unveiling, a scroll of strategy straight from the throne. I am not just here to soothe. I am here to send. I'm activating the assignment that has lingered over your life like a sealed letter waiting to be opened. And this is the seal-breaking moment. This is the holy unveiling. The hour has come to shift from mystery to meaning. No more blurry vision. No more wandering in the wilderness. No more walking with weight and no understanding. What I speak next will awaken your bones, straighten your spine, and burn away the fog of confusion. You've outgrown the milk, child. You've graduated from hints and riddles. And now I give you the meat of revelation. Not because you demanded it, but because you've been refined to carry it. You've worshipped while you wept. You stayed when you could have strayed. And now the release is no longer postponed. Heaven is leaning in. The angelic hosts are still. And I, your Father, am about to whisper what shifts the war in your favor. So don't flinch. Don't fear. You were made for this moment. Your heart was shaped in fire for this very unveiling. The timing is not off. The weight is not too much. You were fashioned with divine fabric to carry this word, to wear this instruction like a mantle, to walk it out with a boldness that silences the voice of doubt. And when I say I can no longer delay, it's because the atmosphere has aligned, the heavens have opened, and the fullness of time has arrived. What I've held back, I now pour out. What I've reserved, I now release. You are no longer standing in the waiting room. You are standing at the threshold of fulfillment. And my child, I am handing you what only the fire could form you to hold. Beloved, lean into me now. Let the ache in your chest soften. Let the weight you've carried unclench from your soul. I know what has haunted your heart. I know the nights you stared at ceilings, asking why the silence lingered, why the answers never came, why your prayers seemed to echo in an empty sky. And I know what the enemy tried to whisper in those moments. He said I had left. He said I had changed my mind. He said you were overlooked, bypassed, forgotten. But hear me now. I was never absent. I was never distant. I was not ignoring you. I was recording every sigh, bottling every tear, standing guard over every question you were too afraid to ask out loud. And now, my child, I step forward to say this with thunder in my voice and tenderness in my eyes. I am unraveling it all. Every thread of confusion, every knot of pain, every tangle of doubt. I am not skimming the surface. I'm going to the root. This isn't a surface-level solution. This is a soul-deep restoration. You mistook the silence for my withdrawal. But what you called stillness was sacred strategy. I was moving in shadows because I was preserving your purpose. I was quiet, not because I was far, but because I was near enough to whisper, waiting for your spirit to settle into stillness so you could finally hear. There were answers I longed to give you, but I wouldn't let them be delivered into hands still holding bitterness. There were truths too pure to be poured into hearts distracted by performance. So I waited until you stopped performing, until your smile cracked, until your strength crumbled, until your soul, finally laid bare, whispered, not for resolution, but for presence. And beloved, I was there all along, right beside you, waiting not to punish but to protect. I have seen the ache that words couldn't reach, and now I am reaching for it. I am unraveling every lie that wrapped around your identity like a vine. I am pulling apart the threads of every false belief, every buried cry, every silent scream you swallowed just to survive. None of it has been wasted, and none of it is beyond my reach. You don't need to chase closure. I am the closure. I am the healing balm that touches what your mind forgot but your heart still remembers. You thought I was waiting for you to have the right words, the right posture, the right prayers. But I've come not because you performed, but because you persisted. You stayed. And now I will speak. I will explain. I will untangle the years of questions with a clarity that doesn't just settle your mind. It will settle your spirit. I am not interested in surface-level comfort. I am after soul-deep transformation. This is the moment I wrap my arms around your raw places and say, let me show you what I was doing in the dark. Let me reveal the reason for the delay, the purpose in the pain, the hidden protection in every unanswered prayer. What I say next won't just satisfy your curiosity. It will restore your trust. You don't need every detail to understand. You need my voice. And I am speaking now. So hold still, child. Don't run from the unraveling. Don't fear the layers I'm peeling back. This is not to expose you to shame. It's to expose you to truth. I am removing the mask of pain and replacing it with the mantle of revelation. You will see what you could not see. You will know what you could not grasp. And more than anything, you will feel my nearness again. I'm not answering to oppress. I'm answering to embrace. This unraveling is not destruction. It's divine undoing of everything that never came from me. And what remains when I'm done? Pure gold, a heart refined, a soul awakened, a child restored, and a testimony that screams louder than any silence ever could. My beloved, let me assure you that stirring in your spirit, that holy unrest you can't shake, that sudden stillness that fell upon your day, it is not a random wave of emotion. It is not a coincidence, a mood, or anxiety in disguise. It is me. I am the one behind the intensity you feel, the weight in the air, the pressure in your chest, the goosebumps that rise when no one is in the room, the way your breath catches mid-thought when something eternal brushes your atmosphere. You are not imagining this. You are not being over-spiritual. You are not losing your mind. You are finally stepping into divine alignment. And everything I mean everything, is beginning to respond to the weight of heaven leaning closer. You have unknowingly stepped into a sacred second, one that was etched into eternity, and I need you to recognize what's happening around you. I've shifted heaven's gaze in your direction. I've summoned angels to attention. I've drawn a circle of divine protection around this message so it would not miss you. This moment, this breath, this whisper from my heart is the undeniable evidence that heaven is no longer watching silently. Heaven is speaking loudly, and this message is the echo of that holy sound. There are moments in a person's life where eternity collides with time, where the invisible world interrupts the visible one, and something holy demands to be heard. This is that moment for you. That holy interruption you've been sensing is not imagination. It is invitation. It's your spirit tuning into something beyond logic, something deeper, weightier, more real than the distractions you've tried to numb yourself with. I sent this message like lightning, fast, clear, and unavoidable, to cut through the static of every other voice. The urgency you feel is not meant to panic you, but to pull you. Pull you out of comfort. Pull you away from delay. Pull you into my presence where nothing stays the same. Don't brush this off as coincidence. Don't try to talk yourself out of what you know deep down. The whisper in your soul is mine. The knock you keep feeling in your heart is not just a feeling. It is me, the Lord of hosts, asking you to answer, to lean in, to not let this divine moment slip through your fingers. I am not passing by casually. I am coming directly to you with deliberate intention. I have stirred the atmosphere around you with holy precision, the kind of stirring that awakens slumbering destinies and silences demonic distractions. This message is more than a word. It's a divine deployment. You've crossed into a zone where your life is being summoned into significance. You may have felt like a background character in the story of your own life, but I'm here to tell you, you're not in the background anymore. Heaven has brought you to the front line. You are standing in a corridor of calling, a hallway of holy unveiling. You feel it, that electricity in your spirit, that thunder behind your thoughts, that fire in your belly that won't let you settle anymore. It's because I've lit a match in the middle of your ordinary day. I've branded this hour with eternal ink. You don't need confirmation from anyone else. This message is the confirmation. And confirmation, my beloved, is always a clue that something is about to be revealed. So stand up within yourself. Shake off the numbness. Open your spirit wide, because I am coming in with clarity, strategy, and holy fire that will not leave you the same. This isn't hype. This is holy. This isn't pressure. This is prophecy. You have felt me. You've heard me in the silence. You sensed me in the stirring. And now, I speak openly, urgently, without delay. The urgency you feel is sacred. It is a divine pulse pounding through your timeline, announcing the shift you didn't expect but have always needed. Do not harden your heart. Do not dismiss the signal. This is not just another emotional moment. This is the evidence that the King of Glory has entered your atmosphere, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will remain untouched by it. Heaven has shifted. My eyes are on you, and I am speaking, not to a crowd, not to a group, but to you, directly, personally. Now, O child, hear the tenderness in my voice. This is not a reprimand. This is a revelation soaked in mercy. You thought I was punishing you with silence. You thought I had left you wandering in a wilderness without water. You feared that my silence meant rejection, that your questions had become too heavy, too messy, too complicated for me to want to answer. But listen closely. I never withheld because I was angry. I withheld because I was careful. I withheld because you matter too much for me to pour eternal truth into a heart still healing from temporal wounds. I wasn't punishing you. I was protecting you. You asked for wine, but I had to finish shaping the vessel first. I had to let the cracks show so I could seal them with my presence. I had to let the leaks of past trauma surface so I could heal them in the light, not hide them in the dark. Because if I had poured before the shaping was done, the very answer you longed for would have broken you instead of blessing you. And I love you far too deeply to watch that happen. My process is never rushed. My timing is never off. I am the master potter, the divine sculptor, the eternal artisan shaping your life with hands both firm and tender. Every pause in your timeline wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every delay in your prayers wasn't rejection, it was refinement. I was watching your spiritual shoulders grow strong enough to carry the weight of what you asked me for. You prayed for understanding, and I said, yes, but not yet. You begged for breakthrough, and I answered, absolutely, but only after the breaking has refined you. You see, I wasn't trying to make you earn it. I was making sure you could steward it. Because the anointing I have for you isn't lightweight. The oil I've reserved for your life isn't cheap. It costs something. And if I had given it to you before the inner scaffolding of your soul was fortified, the wine of my wisdom would have spilled through your cracks. But now you've been sealed in surrender. Now you've been forged in fire. Now your spirit is not just ready to receive, it's ready to carry, protect, and pour. Don't mistake my care for cruelty, my delay for distance. What looked like heaven's no was actually heaven's not yet. I delayed because I love you. I withheld because I honor what I give, and I honor who receives it. I am not a careless father. I do not hand gold to those still playing in the sand. But when I find a heart that has bowed, stayed, surrendered, I pour. I pour without measure. And beloved, your time of pouring is coming swiftly. You stayed through the stillness. You didn't break in the waiting. You let the shaping finish. And now, what I'm about to release will not be wasted. It will not leak. It will not falter. Because I see the strength of your soul, and I trust your hands. So lift your head. You are not being punished. You are being promoted. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. But I held back wasn't rejection, it was reservation. I was reserving something rare for someone who could carry it. And now I say to you, the shaping is complete. The vessel is ready. And the wine is flowing. Get ready, child. What's about to be poured into you will not only answer the questions of your past, it will activate the calling of your future. Because I love you. Because I've always loved you. And because I'm just getting started. My beloved child, you asked for clarity, and heaven leaned in. I saw your lips tremble with prayers that had no punctuation. I saw the ache in your eyes when you tried to interpret the silence. You didn't want surface answers. You weren't looking for shallow inspiration. What your soul craved, even when your lips couldn't form the words, was substance, not sentiment. You wanted divine direction, not diluted distraction. But listen to me with your heart wide open. I could not answer when your desperation was still looking for relief instead of revelation. I could not speak clearly when your spirit was still begging for comfort over correction. So I waited. I waited through the weeping. I waited through the wild swings of emotion. I waited until your soul matured past the need for quick fixes and started hungering for my full truth, even if it came with weight, even if it came with work. And oh, how sacred that moment was. The moment you finally stopped pleading for escape and started asking for endurance. That shift wasn't loud, but it shook heaven. When you whispered, "God, show me what I need to see, not just what I want to hear," something shifted in the spirit realm. That one sentence gave me full access. That one surrender shattered the ceiling that confusion built around your clarity. You didn't realize it, but your longing graduated from emotion to alignment. You stopped chasing temporary peace and started seeking eternal purpose. And child, I have been waiting for that exact moment. Not because I am cruel, but because I am careful. My truth is pure fire. It purifies. It transforms. It consumes what cannot remain. I couldn't hand you the flame until I knew your heart wouldn't drop it in fear. And now that you've been refined in the furnace of disappointment, I can place clarity in your hands without fear it will be traded for comfort. Let me be honest with you, beloved. The truth I'm about to reveal is not wrapped in soft edges or sugar-coated reassurances. It comes with holy weight, with divine strategy, with eternal insight. You wanted answers that would ease the ache, but I'm giving you answers that will equip you for assignment. Because I'm not just healing you, I'm preparing you. I'm not only clearing the fog, I'm giving you vision that pierces through shadows and sees straight into dissection. That's why the delay was necessary. That's why I let the silence linger until you stopped measuring your worth by how quickly I responded and started trusting my heart even when I did. And now I will pour clarity like oil over your head. Not a trickle, not a drop, but a deluge. It will feel like scales falling from your eyes, like lightning flashing across the night sky. Sudden. Joe. Supernatural. You will not question whether it is from me. The weight of it will bear my signature. So prepare yourself, not just to be comforted, but to be commissioned. My truth is not casual. It is a sword and a lamp. It cuts what needs to be severed and illuminates what must be pursued. You didn't just cry for clarity, you bled for it. And now, I will answer in a voice that doesn't just calm your emotions, it will awaken your calling. The truth is coming, child, raw, radiant, and undeniably real. And when it arrives, you'll finally understand why I waited. Because clarity was never withheld, it was simply being perfected in the furnace of your faith. My precious one, what I am releasing right now is not just a whisper of comfort. It is thunder. Divine thunder, not the kind that rattles with fear, but the kind that breaks open sealed places in your soul. This is a holy rumble that shakes loose the pain hidden behind polite prayers. You've been too quiet about your breaking, too skilled at concealing your soul's slow unraveling. But I've seen it. I've heard the breaking in your silence. I've stood beside the bed where you whispered to no one in particular, "How much longer can I hold on?" And tonight, I'm not speaking softly. I am roaring. With gentleness, yes, but with undeniable urgency. My voice is splitting through the silence that wrapped around your ache like a cocoon of numbness. You thought no one saw. You assumed no one noticed. But I was there, beloved, and I'm speaking now, not just to encourage you, but to rescue you. I'm not whispering because this is not the time for subtlety. This is not the hour for half-truths and half-steps. This is the hour where I break open what was buried and breathe into what was beginning to die. My voice is targeted, surgical, specific, sacred. I'm not speaking to the you that pretends everything is fine. I'm speaking to the version of you that sits in the corners of your heart, wondering if you will ever feel whole again. I'm aiming my voice at the ache that has lingered too long. The ache that therapy didn't fully heal, that friends couldn't comprehend, that even you were afraid to admit still hurts. I'm going after the trauma behind your tolerance, the grief behind your grit, the fatigue behind your faith. Because I am not a God who glosses over wounds. I am a God who presses into the pain and speaks life until the cracks glow with glory. Let my thunder awaken you. Let it rattle the chains you've normalized. Let it disrupt the depression you've dressed up as diligence. I will not let you hide behind performance any longer. You were not made to survive in silence. You were made to thrive in my presence. This divine thunder will not destroy you. It will awaken you. It will pull the lid off every bottle you've used to store pain. I'm not afraid of your mess. I'm not disgusted by your doubt. I'm not disappointed in your weakness. I'm drawn to it. And I'm speaking now with a volume that matches the weight of what you've carried in silence. This is not noise. This is not hype. This is holy thunder from a God who refuses to let his child break silently any longer. So don't run from the roar. Let it in. Let it shake you free. This is the kind of divine interruption that doesn't just fix, it frees. This is the thunder that doesn't bring terror but truth. You're not just being heard, you're being healed. And the places that cracked in silence, I'm sealing them now with strength. The wounds that whispered you're alone, I'm answering them with a voice that says, I'm right here, and I always have been. So receive this thunder, wrapped in tenderness. Because it's not just meant to stir you, it's meant to save you. And I promise you this, after this storm of truth, you won't break the same way again. Child, listen carefully. I did not let them leave because I was punishing you. I allowed the separation because I was protecting you. The people who walked away, the patterns that crumbled, the places that no longer felt like home, none of it was coincidence. Every departure, every disconnection, every door that closed was divinely permitted, not to isolate you, but to insulate you. I know how deeply it hurt. I know how abandonment echoed like thunder in the hollow spaces of your heart. I saw the tears you didn't let fall until the room was dark. I watched as you mourned what felt like betrayal, not just from others, but from me. But hear me clearly now, with no shadow of doubt clouding your vision. I allowed it because what I was about to show you couldn't be shared with those who didn't honor the weight of your calling. I had to remove the noise before I could reveal the strategy. I had to strip the crown so I could expose the counterfeit. I had to empty the room so you could finally hear only me. Some of the people you cried to keep were never sent to stay. They were assignments, not alignments. Their presence had a purpose, yes, but their expiration was also divine. You wanted them to walk with you into destiny, but I saw how they clung to your comfort, not your calling. I saw how their words subtly slowed you, how their counsel diluted your confidence, how their company clouded your clarity. And because I love you too much to let you miss what I've hidden just for you, I allowed the separation, not to break your spirit, but to break the cycle. You thought it was rejection, but it was redirection. You thought it was loss, but it was liberation. You thought the door slammed shut, but it was I who sealed it, so your soul could finally stop negotiating with noise. There are realms of revelation that can only be accessed in sacred solitude. And now, beloved, you are standing at the threshold. Alone, perhaps, but not abandoned. Distanced from distractions, yet divinely surrounded by purpose. I needed to empty the stage so your identity could no longer be scripted by others. I needed to clear the room of performance, people-pleasing, and misplaced loyalty. Because what I'm about to pour out over your life will require you to stand in fullness, not fragments. The unveiling I am preparing cannot be diluted by comparison or corrupted by compromise. This is holy ground, and not everyone was willing to take off their shoes. So I removed them. Gently. Silently. Without public explanation. Because you didn't need closure. You needed consecration. You didn't need applause. You needed alignment. I'm doing something so custom, so uniquely designed for your blueprint, that it couldn't be revealed until the clutter cleared. That's why I let the shaking come. That's why I didn't stop the exit. Because what's about to enter is too sacred to share with anyone who can't handle the weight of your destiny. And now, child, breathe. Because the separation wasn't the end. It was the setup. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. What looked like subtraction was actually divine surgery. I removed what was crowding your spirit so that what I've hidden, the deep, the holy, the unprecedented, can finally rise to the surface. Don't mourn the absence of what I removed. Rejoice in the arrival of what I'm unveiling. Because what I reveal next is only for the eyes of the trusted. And you, yes you, have been trusted enough to be separated, so you could finally be seen. My beloved, lean in. I want you to hear this with the full force of heaven's heart behind every word. Delay does not mean denial. The long pause, the closed doors, the unanswered cries, they were not rejection. They were protection. You asked why it took so long. You wondered if I'd change my mind. But while you were pacing in disappointment, I was placing shields around your destiny. You see only the timeline, but I see the threats. I saw traps disguised as opportunities. I saw relationships that looked promising but were poisoned underneath. I saw doors that seemed open but were dripping with deception. And because I love you too fiercely to let you walk into premature disaster, I slowed the pace. I stretched the season. I lengthened the way. Not to break you, but to build a wall between you and what would have broken you beyond repair. I wasn't being silent. I was securing. I wasn't stalling. I was sanctifying. You didn't know what was lurking behind the doors you prayed I'd open. You couldn't see the spiritual sabotage waiting to pounce. What I did. I've read every file the enemy tried to write against your future. And every time he sent an assignment masked as a breakthrough, I intercepted it with delay. Every time he tried to sneak in with subtle sabotage, I rerouted your steps. You thought you missed your moment, but you missed a minefield. You thought I was absent, but I was active behind the scenes, removing what you didn't even know was dangerous. I saw how fragile you felt in the fog. I heard every "why not now, Lord?" But if I had given it to you when you asked, it would have crushed you with counterfeit weight. So I secured your future by slowing your present. I protected your promise by preserving your process. And I need you to see this, not as a failure, but as a fortress. Delay was not your defeat, it was your divine defense. I've been building boundaries around the purity of your purpose. And now, because you trusted me even when the timeline twisted, I will show you why the wait was worth every weeping night. The very thing you thought would never come is arriving, but without the contamination it once carried. What I'm giving you now is clean, clear, covered in glory. It doesn't come with strings. It doesn't come with compromise. It comes with my seal of protection, my stamp of heaven's timing, and my signature of intentionality. This isn't just a blessing, it's a blueprint. And it couldn't be released until the atmosphere around you was ready to receive it. But now, child, now the air is clear. The soil is ripe. The shield has done its work. And the delay has expired. So lift your head. Reframe the memory. What you called wasted time was actually woven security. The days you labeled as detours were divine designs. I was never delaying your joy. I was defending your future. And now that the danger has passed, and your discernment has sharpened, I will move quickly, suddenly, undeniably. What was once held back is now being handed over. And the delay will serve as proof that your promise is pure, preserved and prepared perfectly by my hand. My precious child, what I've held back from your eyes wasn't withheld in cruelty. It was preserved in holiness. You have cried out for more clarity, more vision, more revelation, and I've heard every longing, every whisper, every teardrop prayer. But what I'm about to show you is not small. It's not trivial. It's not a fleeting flicker of inspiration. What I am revealing is sacred, weighty with wonder, burning with divine wisdom, pulsing with purpose. And this level of revelation could only descend when your spirit was no longer shaking under the weight of fear or buckling under the burden of frustration. I needed your spirit to be steady, still, surrendered. I could not release the sacred into a soul still spinning in worry, still chasing noise, still gripped by performance. The vision I am about to unveil requires strength, not the strength to strive, but the strength to receive. To be still and know. To behold, not just glance. To carry, not just consume. That's why I waited until now. The sacred is not loud. It doesn't compete with chaos. It enters through stillness, through the posture of awe, through the hush that descends when flesh surrenders to spirit. And now, after the storms you've weathered, the trials you've endured, the internal earthquakes that leveled what was shallow, you are steady enough. Your roots have grown deep beneath the surface. Your spirit has learned to hold space for silence, to sit with mystery, to remain faithful even without feeling. That's why the unveiling begins here. Not when you were shouting, not when you were striving, but now that your soul has finally settled into surrender. What I'm about to place in your hands would have slipped through them in seasons past. But now your fingers are open, not clenched. Your heart is ready, not racing. Your posture is not packed, it is poised. You've stopped begging and started beholding. And I, the God of glory, do not pour the sacred into rushing streams. I wait for still waters, and now I see them in you. Don't mistake this moment for another emotional encounter. This is not a spiritual high. This is a spiritual handoff. I'm giving you blueprints, not just blessings. I'm handing you maps, not just moments. This is sacred strategy straight from my throne room. And it will require you to walk differently, to speak differently, to discern differently. You're not just being filled, you're being formed. The revelation I'm about to unfold will demand maturity. It will stretch your faith, expand your vision, and refine your assignment. But fear not. I will walk with you every step. I do not show without shepherding. I do not reveal and then retreat. What I'm about to show you will change the way you see yourself, your path, and even your past. Because everything that seemed random will now be reframed in light of this sacred unveiling. So breathe deeply, my child. Let the stillness remain. Let the hush of heaven rest on your shoulders like a mantle. This is the moment you were made for, not to chase the sacred, but to carry it. And now that your spirit is steady, your eyes are about to be opened in ways you've never imagined. What once looked like fragments will now look like formation. What once seemed delayed will now appear perfectly timed. Because when the sacred arrives, everything begins to make sense, and the soul finally remembers what it was made to carry. Hear me now, child of fire and promise. You didn't miss it. I know the thoughts that have run like wild horses through your weary mind. I know the self-doubt that's whispered in the shadows. Maybe I missed my moment. Maybe I misheard. Maybe I messed it all up. But let heaven speak a louder word. You didn't miss it. You weren't passed over. You weren't left behind. What you thought was failure was actually formation. What looked like silence was actually sacred shaping. You were placed, not abandoned, into a furnace. But this fire was not meant to incinerate you. It was crafted to define you. I have been forging you in the flames of hiddenness, purifying you in the quiet, sharpening you in the shadows. You were not forgotten. You were being formed in the holy hush. Because the destiny I've placed on your life could not be carried by the version of you that hadn't walked through the fire. The fire stripped away the unnecessary. It burned off the opinions of others. It consumed the false identities, the shallow agreements, the soul-level fatigue masked by performance. In the silence, you learned to hear me without noise. In the stillness, you discovered strength not rooted in applause. In the fire, your essence was revealed, pure, powerful, unshakable. And no, you didn't fail. Even in your weakness, I saw your endurance. Even in your doubt, I saw your desire to return. You kept showing up. You kept breathing when you wanted to break. You held on, even if by a thread, and that thread was enough for heaven to weave destiny through. You were never meant to emerge untouched by fire. You were meant to emerge walked by, branded with boldness, cloaked in clarity, gripping in destiny. The furnace wasn't your failure. It was your formation room. Do you see it now? The timing wasn't wrong. It was refined. I wasn't late. I was layering you with resilience. I wasn't ignoring you. I was igniting you from within. The silence wasn't emptiness. It was echoing with eternity's instructions. The fire you thought would break you actually made you unbreakable. Because fire doesn't just burn, it brands. And you are now marked, beloved. Marked by my hand. Marked by my mercy. Marked by the memory of what you survived and who you became in the becoming. Others may only see the ashes, but I see the anointing. I see the oil extracted through pressing. I see the glow that only comes from walking through the flame and coming out without the smell of smoke. So take heart. Hold your head high. You didn't miss your moment. You were marinated in it. You weren't late. You were being launched. And now, the same fire that once surrounded you will be the fire that sends you. I am taking what was meant to destroy you and using it to distinguish you. The fire that formed you has finished its work. And now, child, it's time to walk out. Not as one who merely survived, but as one who has been refined for royalty. You are ready. You are radiant. And you, beloved, have never been more right on time. Oh, my beloved child, pause right here with me. Breathe deep, because I need you to feel the full weight of what I'm about to say. I have watched you survive what others would have surrendered to. I have watched you walk through seasons that screamed for your destruction, and yet, somehow, you kept putting one foot in front of the other. I have seen you sit in rooms full of people and feel completely alone. I've watched you smile through storms, carry burdens behind closed doors, and wake up day after day when your soul whispered, I don't know how much more I can take. You thought no one noticed. You assumed heaven was silent. But I was watching every single second. And now, the time has come for heaven to answer what earth has ignored. Child, you didn't just survive a hard season. You survived the shattering. And what you don't even realize is this. There were things, precious things, that were lost in that survival. Your peace, your pace, your sense of possibility. And now, I am stepping in to restore it all. You were never meant to just scrape by emotionally while appearing strong externally. You were never meant to wear resilience like armor, and bury your exhaustion beneath layers of performance. I never called you to live as a survivor while pretending to thrive. And while others celebrated your strength, I was weeping over the parts of you that went unnoticed. The silent fractures, the hidden bruises, the sacred parts of your soul you traded just to keep functioning. But now, because you remained under the pressure, because you didn't run from the fire or curse me in the wilderness, I am coming with holy compensation. Restoration, not just relief. What you gave up to survive, I'm giving back in surplus, and I'm not returning it in the same measure. Of restore in overflow. What was taken in tears, I return in triumph. What was lost in silence, I speak back in sacred abundance. I'm not just healing the visible, I'm healing the invisible. There were things you laid down, not because you stopped believing, but because your hands were too tired to hold them. Dreams you buried because you didn't know how to reconcile hope with heartbreak. And beloved, I'm not asking you to go dig them up. I'm resurrecting them myself. I'm reaching into the graveyard of your forgotten expectations and breathing my spirit into bones you thought were long dead. I'm restoring rhythm to your joy. I'm restoring softness to your heart. I'm restoring fire to your faith. I'm even restoring laughter, the deep, Bella-born, childlike laughter that hasn't risen in years. This is not just a season of getting back what was taken. This is a divine reversal. What the enemy thought he stole from you will now become the very soil I use to grow your testimony. And those cracks, those silent breaking points, I'm filling them with glory, not shame, with power, not pretense. So don't be afraid of the restoration process. Don't pull away when I start to touch the tender places. This isn't a repeat of the past, it's a redemption. I restore differently. I restore in layers, in waves, in whispers and wonders. And I'm not doing it on your timeline, I'm doing it on my throw line. You won't just feel better, you'll be better. Transformed, not just treated. Empowered, not just patched up. You survived the shattering, child. Now get ready for the sacred restoration. Because what I give back will not look like what you lost. It will look like what you always needed but never dared to dream was possible. You've heard me call you, and you felt the tremble in your spirit because you know this is not just for you. This word was born to move through you into the lives of others still sitting in silence, still waiting for someone to tell them everything. I speak now to the giver in you, the one who wants to see this fire go farther. As it is written, the generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25. Beloved, when you sow into this soil, whether through super thanks, membership, or the offering I've stirred in your heart, you are not tipping a channel. You are releasing living oil into empty lamps. You are funding the fire that awakens my lost ones. Let your giving echo your obedience. Do it now. Don't delay, because someone else's breakthrough is waiting on your yes. Listen carefully, my child. I am not bound by your timeline. I do not speak to you based only on your current condition. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the author and the finisher, and when I speak, I address both the present and the promise. What I'm releasing into you now is not just for today's tears, it is for tomorrow's triumph. I am speaking to your now, yes, to your tired heart, to your weary hope. But I am also reaching into your next. I am rearranging atmospheres you haven't even walked into yet. I am preparing places, people, platforms, assignments that are waiting to meet the version of you I've been forming in the fire. You see limitation. I see legacy. You see current chaos. I see future clarity. That's why I've allowed this depth of refining, Because what's coming next will require the version of you that's not just gifted, but grounded. You've been praying for doors to open, and they will. But I don't just open doors. I prepare destinations. I don't just send you. I set the stage. That's why I've been stirring you in the midnight hour, awakening you with dreams too big to make sense in your current setting. Because those dreams aren't reflections of where you are. They are previews of where I'm taking you. You thought you were stuck, but in truth, I've been slowing your steps so that your future could catch up. And now, child, your next is no longer just a concept. It's a crafted reality. I've gone before you. I walked ahead of you. I've bent timelines and shaken systems to ensure that when you arrive, you're not entering uncertainty. You're stepping into divine arrangement. I've been talking to people about you who don't even know your name yet. I've been stirring hearts on your behalf, creating favor in places you've never even visited. The very next room you enter, you'll realize I've already decorated it with destiny. You won't have to manipulate to get there. You won't have to perform to be seen. Because this next move is not about striving, it's about alignment. I'm not just bringing you into new places. I'm making those places ready for who you've become. What I'm building for you isn't temporary, it's timeless. You'll walk into environments that feel like they've been waiting for your arrival. And that's because they have. They were shaped in secret, reserved in reverence, protected by providence, all for this appointed hour. So don't just look at your now and assume I'm done speaking. I am speaking to your next. I am speaking beyond the circumstances you can see, into the purpose you're about to meet. And every word I release now is a seed planted not just for survival, but for future stability. You've trusted me with your pain, and now trust me with your path. Because what's next is not only real, it's ready. And I, your God, have gone before you to ensure that when you get there, you'll realize it wasn't a surprise. It was sovereignly designed. My beloved, I have seen the shadowy paths you've walked, the moments when your spirit dimmed under the weight of confusion, exhaustion, and silence. You've trudged through emotional fogs that wrapped around your thoughts like chains, binding your joy and blurring your vision. You wondered where the light was. You kept your head low, whispering prayers through clenched teeth, asking, when will this darkness break? And child, hear me now. The light is not far off. It is not some distant glow in the final stretch of a long tunnel. It is not postponed for a future you have yet to earn. The light is imminent. It is divine, and near and trembling to break through, not eventually but now. Not out there but right where you are. You're not waiting for the light to catch up to you. The light is waiting for your soul to recognize it's already surrounding you. You assumed the tunnel was endless because the shadows were loud. But shadows, beloved, are not the absence of my presence, they are the evidence of it. Shadows can only exist where light is nearby. And though you felt surrounded by darkness, what you didn't see is that I've been standing behind you the whole time, shining my glory in such a way that even the shadow was part of the design. Every step you took in the dark was still on holy ground. Every silent night was still filled with my breath. I wasn't waiting at the end of the tunnel. I was walking in it with you. And now, because you kept walking, because you didn't give up when you couldn't see, I am about to do something glorious. I will break through right here, right now. I will flood the shadows with sudden light, not a flicker, but a flood. Not a spark, but a surge. You're not approaching breakthrough. You are on the brink of becoming it. The light that's coming will not simply expose the way forward. It will reveal who you've become in the darkness. Because while you thought you were being delayed, You were actually being developed. Strength was being forged. Discernment was being sharpened. Roots were growing deeper than you realized. And now, as the light bursts forth, you'll see not only where I'm taking you, you'll see what I've built within you. The tunnel wasn't a prison. It was a process. A cocoon, not a cage. A hallway, not a holding cell. And what emerges from this darkness will not be the same version of you that entered it. You'll be stronger, steadier, softer, and above all, more saturated in my spirit. The light is not simply returning to your life. It is resurrecting you from within. So don't brace yourself for another season of waiting. Unclench your fists and harden your heart. Because I'm not about to shine near you. I'm about to shine through you. The radiance of what I reveal will spill into every darkened place in your soul. And those who once watched you walk through shadows will now witness you blaze with brilliance. This is not the end of the tunnel, child. This is the eruption of glory in the middle of it. And when the light comes, it won't just guide your steps. It will announce your arrival. My child, I felt the weight of your wondering. The way you second-guessed every decision, questioned every direction, retraced your steps with trembling hands, wondering, did I miss it? Did I take a wrong turn? Have I strayed too far? But I need you to hear me now, not with your logic, but with your spirit. You never left the path I carved for you. The terrain changed. Yes. The scenery grew unfamiliar. The quiet became almost deafening. But you were never lost. You were never off course. You were never wandering aimlessly. Even when the silence screamed, "You're alone," I was there, guiding you with gentle, divine precision. You assumed my voice had vanished, but it hadn't. It simply changed tones, from thunder to whisper, from visible to visceral. I guided you through gut instincts that you couldn't explain, through closed doors that didn't make sense, through dreams that woke you in the night and people who spoke truth without knowing why. My presence didn't disappear. It just disguised itself in everyday grace. The path didn't vanish. It simply dipped into valleys where faith was your only compass. And while others cheered in the light, you learned to walk in the weight of holy quietness. You thought silence meant absence, but it meant trust. I trusted you to keep walking when there was no map. I trusted you to keep believing when there was no confirmation. And you did. With tear-stained cheeks and tired feet, you kept moving. You didn't see it, but heaven did. Every trembling step was recorded. Every sigh was sacred. And now, I need you to release the doubt that says, I got off track. Because, child, you've been walking in my will all along. I am not a God who discards the faithful because they falter. I am not a master who punishes missteps. I am a father who redirects with mercy, who leads with love, who speaks even when the voice is faint. You thought the path was lost, but I was refining your ability to follow without needing full explanation. I was teaching you the language of trust. You didn't fail, you followed. Not perfectly, but persistently. And that's what I honor. Heaven doesn't require perfection, it requires alignment. And every twist, every turn, every moment of what now was part of the path I designed to deepen your dependence and destroy your doubt. So now, as I begin to speak louder again, as the fog begins to lift, you'll see what I've been orchestrating all along, a path not just protected, but perfectly personalized for you. So breathe, beloved. Shake off the shame. Release the regret. You haven't missed it. You haven't failed. You haven't wandered beyond my reach. You've walked exactly where I placed your feet, even when you didn't understand it. And now, I will flood your spirit with confirmation. I will illuminate your path again with clarity, not just direction. And you will walk forward, not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. Because the path isn't just beneath you, it's within you. And I, your God, have never stopped guiding you, even in the silence. Beloved child, lean in close, for what I am whispering now is not intended for the masses. It carries DNA, the fingerprints of your specific passage, your particular process, your prayer-ought pathway. I am not releasing random revelations or recycled blessing. No, this word is custom sealed, fashioned on the anvil of your obedience, honed by the hammer of your endurance, cooled in the waters of your faith under fire. This truth has your name on it. It has your scars and your sacred scars interlaced through it like threads of destiny, woven into a tapestry of purpose that can only be claimed by the one who has walked the way you've walked. I know exactly how your heart shuddered in the silence. I know how you nearly let go in the darkness. I know how your lips trembled, not from fear but from the weight of long-held faith. And because you held on, because you stayed, because you learned to trust me in fragments rather than in full visibility, I am ready now to pour out the specifics, the instructions, the revelation that fits your soul's blueprint alone. You have stood at crossroads where invisible angels waited on the wings of your decisions. You have chosen surrender over self-defense, transparency over pretense, and trust over terrified logic. These were not random acts of courage. They were investments in spiritual currency that now unlock supernatural provision. What I'm about to show you is tailored to your exact DNA, the call that has vibrated in your spirit since childhood, the assignment that felt like too much even though your soul leaned into it, the dreams you've hidden in the hush of midnight prayers. I crafted your path precisely so that this moment, this intersection of need and readiness, would ignite. This is your unveiling, not the unveiling of a template. A strategy not for many, but for you. And because it's custom, it will feel intensely personal and surprisingly powerful, like a wind that finds every brittle bone in your spirit and breathes life there again. The beauty of divine customization is that it isn't one size fits all. Uniform faith doesn't yield transformation, but faith shaped by suffering, perseverance, longing, and loyalty, that faith opens you to strategy that fits. The word I release now bypasses every generic blessing you've received and zeroes in on the terrains where your soul has bled, where your faith has been tested, and where your calling has been denied by your own disbelief. That is no longer the stage. That curtain is drawn back, and you are entering into a revelation that responds to your endurance. This is not to intimidate your weakness. It's to elevate your weakness into destiny. You were formed through pressure, but now that same pressure becoming revelation will serve you, not suppress you. So prepare your heart. This word will land as a weapon and a warm embrace. It will sharpen your purpose and soothe your spirit. It will confront every lie you've believed about lack, failure, fear, and unworthiness. Because you listened, you remained, you walked. And now the voice from heaven speaks specifically to your spirit, your assignment, your victory. This moment isn't communal commentary. It's a heavenly handshake extended not to everyone, but to you. And you, beloved, are finally officially commissioned. Oh, precious child, do you feel that tremor in your spirit? The one that rises just beneath your breath when memory breaks open again. Those questions, uttered in trembling tears, in solitude, late at night. God, why me? What's my purpose? Is this all? Can you still see me? These whispers were not wasted. Every teardrop soaked into the ground, carried with prayer, and landed directly at my throne. Not once did your sorrow get lost in the ecstasy of the cosmos. It was received. Your questions were not too many, too fragile, too broken. They were precious to my heart because they held your soul's raw need. And now, right here in the fullness of this hour, I am drawing every hidden question out, every cry hidden behind your words, every I don't know if I can go on. And I am answering in fullness. Not half-truths, not spiritual platitudes, not soothing words that evaporate with the day. I'm giving you the heart-level responses that ripple in your spirit and settle in your bones. You poured out your confusion, your fear, your longing for clarity. Some soothed the shame with shallow faith, some heard silence in return. But I heard your questions. I felt the force of your desperation. And I haven't just been silent. I've been gathering those questions up so that when I answer, it will not be a trickle, but a torrent of truth. Not of condemnation, but of affirmation. So each doubt you whispered, am I forgotten? Will it come? You, I have more. Does anyone even see me? Those are being met now with answers that aren't abstract. They're not manufactured comfort. They're living, breathing, resurrecting. And they are tailored for your faith and your fragility. You were not foolish for asking. You were vulnerable. And now I respond with depth and destiny. This is not a partial repair. It is a divine breakthrough. The volume of your questions, the ones repeated to empty rooms, to slumbering nights, to faces that saw your faith but didn't feel your fracture, that volume will now be answered with clarity that fits each sob, each longing, each fragile hope. It feels overdue because you're right on time. Delaying did not mean forgetting. Delay bred depth. And now, because you held on to my voice when there was none, I respond with my voice when you're ready to truly hear. One by one, the questions asked in fear will fall away into praise. And the answers, the answers, will become not only your comfort but your calling. So rest your heart. Let the tension that's held your soul loosen. Because this encounter is not just about truth being told, it's about trust being sealed. Your questions, saved in the storeroom of heaven, are now unpacked in glory. And you, yes you, beloved, are being filled with answers so fierce, so full, so freeing, they will change your trajectory. Not tomorrow. Now. The throne has heard you. The answer is here. Receive with both hands open and both feet steady, for heaven has spoken, and this speaking will define your days. My child, bend close and listen. This moment is not another milestone. It is your divine unlocking. I stand before you not just to comfort, but to commission. To deliver not just words, but keys, sharp and sure, designed to open what has been closed in your spirit, in your calling, in your capacity to receive destiny. Those keys aren't forged in casual moments. They are crafted in covenant, sealed with the sound of my heartbeat. Each key is an answer to years of unanswered questions. Each key is a pathway through walls you thought impenetrable. I'm not handing you common keys. They are orchestrated by my holiness, tailored to fit your locks of timing, purpose, and promise. You're not simply stepping forward. You're stepping into unlocking, into unsealing, into unveiling. I see the places you've tried to open with your own strength, doors that wouldn't budge, chains that wouldn't crack. You labored, you pushed, you pounded, and I watched. But dear one, you needed my key. You needed revelation activated by my hand. You needed clarity rooted not in ambition but in alignment. And now, because your spirit has pressed through purification, I am releasing keys of clarity, keys of courage, keys of covenant, keys of connection to your calling, keys of comprehension that will break down confusion, keys of confidence that will shatter every false narrative. When you receive these, you will not just walk through open doors. You will stand inside realms that have waited for your arrival. But know this, unlocking is not always easy. It evokes trembling. It breaks the barren places. It confronts inertia with holy motion. You may feel the click of the lock, followed by the tremor of shifting ground beneath your feet. That is good. That is holy. Because what I unlock is alive. Pulse and power and presence reside in every chamber. Don't fear the tremor. It's the sound of your soul aligning with your assignment. It's the sound of revelation becoming habitation in your heart. The keys I bring are not to convenience, but to consecrate. Not to comfort, but to commission. Each key is a call to maturity, to movement, to mission. So, receive them, not as symbols but as seals. Seal breaking is about authority. You're not picking locks. You are receiving my authority to walk forward. The revelation that comes now will open your eyes, but it will also unfold your feet. You won't just see. Your steps will align with the unsealed purposes I have whispered over you from before time. This is more than potency. It's possession of promise. This moment, beloved, is not just an unlocking. It is an unveiling of everything I've written for you. Take hold, walk through, step into your calling unleashed. My beloved, I know the noise that's wrapped around your mind, with its distractions, distortions, competing voices, and clashing opinions. It isn't just sound. It's a spiritual static, browning out stillness, shaking your spirit, confusing your clarity. You've tried to manage it. You've tried to filter it. Maybe you turned up the volume of good counsel, tried affirmations, but none brought the life you needed. That noise, though familiar, held no life. It was clutter, not clarity. But I am stepping in now to cut through the chaos with clarity. Not with a gentle tone, but with incisive precision that dismantles confusion and restores sight. I'm breaking through, not to soothe the noise, but to silence it with my voice of vivacity. Imagine a storm of sound turning into a single, resonant note that echoes in your soul. That's what I'm doing. I'm bringing a clarity so holy, so sharp, it will slice through the static and reveal the rhythm that lies underneath, the heartbeat of your destiny. This isn't about what's comforting, it's about what's clarifying. The world's applause won't bring clarity, it'll just amplify noise. But my voice, not loud but lifeful, will bring stillness, focus, and forward motion. You'll recognize it not because it's louder, but because it's truer. It's not carrying the breath of confusion. It's carrying the freshness of revelation. I will not only pierce through the noise, I will dismantle its power over your decisions, your dreams, your discernment. What once threatened to override your purpose will now be eclipsed by the clarity of my voice. Lessons will emerge, not from outside correction, but from inner conviction. Crowded conversations will fade into the background because the clarity I bring resonates at a frequency your spirit understands. You won't only know the way, you'll feel it, deep in your bones. No more hesitation. No more second-guessing. No more fragments of clarity lost in crowds. Just truth. Pure. Person by person. Life by life. Me by you. So anchor your heart. Cast aside the exhaustion of trying to discern through chatter. Open yourself to divine clarity now, clearer than any contriving counsel. Let this clarity become your compass, your currency, your conduit. Not because it comforts the chaos, but because it commands transformation. The noise was not meant to stay. It was only the background. Now I speak. Not to add to the tumult, but to restore order. This is not passive presence. It is prophetic precision. I am cutting through chaos. The silence after it lands will ring with the clarity you've long cried for, and the life you've long needed will finally find you. Beloved child, listen with your spirit. I speak not to the ears of casual comfort, but to the depths of your being. There have been truths, divine truths, that hovered on the horizon of revelation, truths that shimmered like stars in the distance but seemed too heavy, too holy, too harrowing to bear. If I had given them to you during your previous season of fear, of fragility, of fragmented hope, they would have crushed you. They would have shattered your shattered places. They would have buried you beneath their weight. But you see, the fullness of my love does not rush. My love waits. My love sees. My love grows the vessel even as I measure the treasure. So I withheld certain truths, not out of cruelty, but out of care. I withheld because you had not yet been strengthened enough to walk in them. You had not yet been refined enough to wear them. Now, beloved one, that season of unveiling has arrived. The truths that would have crushed are now being refashioned into crowns. The very words I held back in holy hush are now being spoken not as burdens, but as attestations of your becoming. No longer will they weigh you down. They will rise upon you, like diadems fashioned from divine fire, setting you apart in clarity, in calling, in covenant with the Almighty. You were being formed to carry what you could not carry, your depression transforming into devotion, your hurt becoming holiness, your brokenness being rebuilt into beauty. When I tell you what I withheld, it will not come as an accidental echo. It will come as majestic revelation. And each syllable will flow not out of haste, but out of hope for your honor. Let me say this gently. What should have wounded you will now win you. What was once held back will now be handed down to you in radiant brow, all because you allowed the forming. You yielded to the fire, and you waited on me in faith. Do not mourn the delay. Celebrate the deposit. The truths I reveal now are not just information. They are empaneling your destiny. They are no longer whispered. They are crowned. This isn't a casual word of encouragement. It's a coronation of clarity. When I speak it, you will realize that every time you thought you missed your moment, you were merely being readied for the moment of your crowning. So lift your head, beloved. Feel the shift. You are entering into the realm of revelation, not to carry shame, but to wear strength. The truths that could have crushed are now becoming your crowns, signs that you have not only survived but have been so chosen to reign in revelation. And just as a crown never bruises the brow that it is crafted for, these truths will rest perfectly on your heart, reflecting the glory of who I am and who you are becoming. Child of covenant, do you wonder why your path has felt like a maze? Why doors you prayed through bolted shut? Why people who once walked with you faded into fog? Why the road you thought straight has curved, climbed, crumbled? Let your spirit lean in. I am showing you now that none of it was random. Not a single closed door was a mistake. Not a single departure was pity. Not a single twist was waste. Everything that seemed confusing, heartbreaking, unnecessary, every roadblock, was woven with divine purpose. Every separation was sowing. Every turn was training. Everything that hurt was part of the holy architecture I was building around your soul. You see, I'm not just a God of open doors. I am a God of divine dislodging, of detours that steer, of closures that conserve, of turnings that tune you into your destiny. The shut door protected you from a promise that would have cost you more than it was worth. The exit of that person preserved your peace so that what I bring will be pure. The unexpected detour that felt like derailment was actually a rerouting for your good, for my purpose, for a better provision. You thought those moments marked failure. But they were not random. They were my designs in disguise. I entwined purpose into every painful pause, precision into every misstep, and promise into every perplexing turn. Now the stories I'm writing in your life will make sense. The puzzles will have pieces. The suffering will find the purpose. You're not being walked away from. You're being prepared for. I'm revealing to you the why behind the winding. Each closed door will now appear as divine defense. Every disappearance as stewardship. Every deviation as a redirection toward revelation. And when the pattern unravels, you'll see that while you were disoriented, you were being orchestrated. Every fragment you thought was fate was actually a fragment of my blueprint, crafted so that when you step into what's next, you won't just walk forward, you'll walk with wisdom that only wildness could birth. So when I speak it, you'll understand the marvel of my method in your mess. The narrative becomes holy, not hurtful. The parallel is purposeful, not pointless. When I say now, beloved, now you see, it will not just be information, it will be illumination. The same path that once felt like punishment will feel like preparation. And you, beloved, are not a victim of randomness, you are a vessel of revelation. And I am showing you why it all mattered. My beloved, let me draw near and speak what I've long been waiting to say. This moment, yes, this very moment, is holy. It's not a coincidence that you're here, not an accident that your heart feels this vulnerable, this raw, this strangely expectant. I have been waiting for this exact alignment of time, tenderness, and truth. For so long, you begged me to speak, to explain, to answer, but you didn't know then what your heart needed to be able to hold what I was preparing to reveal. The truth I carry for you isn't light. It is luminous. It doesn't come to skim the surface of your understanding. It comes to pierce through every layer of self-protection, every crust of trauma, every crusted over wound you learned to smile over. And I knew, child, that if I had whispered this truth before your soul was supple, it might have shattered you. It might have sounded like rejection rather than redemption. But now your heart has softened. Now you're not just looking for answers, you're craving alignment. You see, my truth doesn't only inform, it transforms. It doesn't merely explain the past, it unveils the purpose beneath the pain. And truth like that can only be received by a heart that is no longer hiding behind pride, fear, or the illusion of control. You've surrendered your weapons. You've laid down your defenses. You've knelt at the altar, not demanding an outcome, but desiring my presence. And because of that surrender, I can now trust you with the truth, not the watered-down, half-step version, but the glory-saturated, soul-awakening, course-correcting kind. The kind that answers the why behind the delay. The kind that illuminates the how in your next steps. The kind that speaks to the child in you, the leader in you, the weary you, and the rising you, all at once. This is what you've waited for, not just divine permission, but divine precision. You may feel the truth land in waves. Some of it will sting before it soothes. Some will stir buried memories before it settles your future. But I will be with you in the hearing, in the trembling, in the receiving. I'm not flinging truth at you. I'm placing it within you, like a key in a lock that has long rusted shut. And as it turns, as the truth I speak now sinks in and seals into your identity, you will find freedom you didn't even know you needed. You will exhale the lies you didn't realize you were breathing. You will walk lighter, not because life is easier, but because your soul is no longer fighting the wrong battles. The truth I speak is not meant to expose you. It is meant to exalt you into wholeness. It does not come to accuse you. It comes to anoint you. So do not brace yourself in fear. The truth is not coming to take something from you. It is coming to give you back what deception tried to steal. You are safe here. You are seen here. You are strong enough now to hear what you couldn't have heard before. This is not just a moment of revelation. It is a homecoming of identity. Welcome to the clarity your heart has craved. Welcome to the truth that only divine timing could deliver. You are ready. And I, your Father, am speaking clearly. You now know. Your heart was open enough to receive the truth without fear. But this truth is not meant to be buried. It's meant to be broadcast like a trumpet, like a wind sweeping across dry bones. I am calling you not just to hear, but to help send this message to others. I'm awakening. I said, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Luke 6:38. When you give through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you're sowing into the harvest of the hurting. You're placing rivers in the desert for someone else to drink from. This is a moment of multiplication, a divine partnership between your faith and my fire. Don't hold back what I've asked you to release. Obey quickly. Move now, because miracles move with your momentum. Oh, child, how often have you looked around and said, nothing's changing? How often have you interpreted silence as stagnation? But I tell you now, what your eyes can't see, faith must claim. There are miracles, wild and wondrous, in motion this very second, on a frequency higher than sight, on a plane deeper than logic. You do not see them yet, but they are not waiting to be released. They've already been dispatched, already commanded by my voice to locate your life, intersect your timeline, and explode into manifestation. Just because they are not visible does not mean they are not violent in power, vivid in purpose, or verging on arrival. Heaven is busy with your name on its lips. You have set miracles in motion, not by perfection, but by persistent trust. You may feel forgotten. You may wonder if the waiting has been wasted. But what you don't realize is this: the stillness has been sacred staging. I've been aligning elements, orchestrating outcomes, and routing resources all for you. And now, the command has gone out. Not casually, not weakly, but with the force of eternity. Go, I said. Go to her. Go to him. Go to the one who waited. Go to the one who stayed when walking away was easier. Go to the one who worshipped with no results in sight. And beloved, they are coming. The miracles aren't limping toward you. They are racing with divine velocity. They carry healing, reconciliation, provision, breakthrough, and undeniable confirmation. Not to reward you, but to fulfill what I promised would come. This is not hope based on hype. This is hope backed by heaven's decree. The kind that overrides demonic interference. The kind that ignores the calendar you've been watching. The kind that won't miss you, even if you feel you missed your chance. I've told the miracles where to find you. They have coordinates locked in the spirit, encoded by your obedience, and empowered by my covenant. You don't need to perform to earn them. You need only position your heart to receive them. You don't need to fake strength. You need only surrender. These miracles are not coming because you're lucky. They are coming because I am loyal. So lift your eyes, even if your hands feel tired. Smile, even if the evidence hasn't arrived. Oh, even before you see. Because right now, even in the unseen, the miracles are already moving toward you. And when they arrive, they will come not one by one, but in waves, testifying that my timing was never cruel, only calculated. That my silence was never abandonment, only setup. That my word didn't die in the waiting, it matured. And now, beloved, the motion becomes manifestation. Oh my beloved, lean in. Let the ache of the weight breathe beside you for just a moment longer, because I am not ashamed of the process I've taken you through. I see how long you stood in the tension between the promise and the manifestation. I know the questions that have kept you awake at night. Did I miss it? Did I mishear? Is it still coming? But I speak now not to soothe the surface, but to touch the root. The delay did not deny you. What you thought was abandonment was preparation. What felt like punishment was my way of protecting the unseen treasure I destined for you. You see only the clock, but I see the consecration. I didn't put you on pause. I put you in the Ford. Because what I'm preparing for you is too holy to be handled immaturely. I didn't withhold because I was cruel. I withheld because the gift was weighty, and a weighty blessing requires a warrior's readiness. Every tear you cried in the dark was watering soil you didn't know existed. Every unanswered question was peeling back layers of self-dependence. Every no and not yet was chiseling your faith into something fierce, something flame-tested, something worthy of the doors I am about to open. I am not in the business of early releases. I am the God who brings fullness in due season. What I've promised over you cannot be rushed without ruining what I intend it to become. And now you are not just waiting, you're ready. Your spirit has matured. Your discernment has sharpened. Your faith no longer flinches at silence, and your heart no longer collapses under delay. That is the fruit I was after, and now that it has bloomed, I can place in your hands what would have broken them in a former season. So grieve no longer over the months, the years, the prayers you thought went unnoticed. The delay was never denial. It was divine discipline, divine design, and divine development. If I had given you what you asked for when you asked, you may have worshipped the gift instead of the giver. But now, you are not just willing to receive, you are ready to steward. And what I give in this next chapter will not just be a personal answer. It will be a generational solution, a breakthrough so massive it redefines your family's future. That is why the delay was so severe, because the deliverance it leads to is spectacular. So lift your head, beloved. The wait was not wasted. The wilderness wasn't a detour, it was divine training. And now you stand on the brink of fulfillment. Not because time finally caught up with me, but because your trust finally caught up with my timing. This is the moment where heaven moves and delay dissolves, and what once felt withheld will now arrive with glory undeniable. Precious one, draw near and let my voice settle in your spirit. I am the God who uncovers and the God who restores. I am both the architect of what's next and the avenger of what was lost. And in this holy hour, I am doing both. I am revealing what was hidden, not from punishment but for protection. There are truths that I covered, connections I concealed, and even blessings I delayed, not because you were unworthy, but because you were not yet ready to carry them with clarity. But the veil is being lifted. I am pulling back the curtain on everything you were meant to walk in. Every anointing that was buried under shame. Every gift that was suppressed under survival. Every relationship, revelation, and responsibility that I've been keeping safe until this exact moment. What I'm revealing now will make you weep, not from sorrow, but from sheer wonder. How could I have not seen this before? And I will whisper, because now, you finally can. But I'm not just revealing. I'm redeeming. Every ounce of joy that was stolen through betrayal. Every bit of confidence stripped by cruel words. Every opportunity swallowed by fear. Every door slammed in your face while you stood there crying. Nothing has escaped my notice, and nothing will escape my redemption. I am reaching into the ruins, into the broken glass of your story, and I am rebuilding with divine elegance. What was stolen is coming back, multiplied. And what was broken is being not just repaired but refined. I am not duct taping your life together. I am recrafting it with heavenly precision. What looked like loss will now gleam as legacy. And the parts of you that others threw away, I am showcasing as sacred art. Yes, they underestimated your rise. Yes, hell tried to bury your voice. Yes, life tried to convince you that healing would never come. But I have spoken another word over you. A final word. A restoring word. A resurrecting word. You will no longer live under the shadow of what was hidden or the shame of what was stolen. You will live in the fullness of what I am now making visible and valuable. What was once concealed in pain will now be revealed in purpose. What the enemy tried to hide from you, I am placing in your hands with undeniable clarity. And what he tried to rob, I am returning with heaven's interest. So prepare yourself, child, not just for answers, but for awakenings. I am not done with your story. I'm just beginning the most beautiful chapter. And what you will walk in now will make you forget the pain of what you lost, because it will be eclipsed by the glory of what I am redeeming before your very eyes. Beloved child, stop and breathe with me for a moment. This is not simply another moment marked by relief or a return to comfort. This is far more than a breakthrough. This is a divine briefing, a sacred download directly from heaven's frequency into the fiber of your being. You were not designed for surface-level glimpses or temporary upgrades. No, you were created for transformation so profound that it rewires the very architecture of your heart and the lens through which you interpret everything around you. The change coming is not just physical or emotional. It's spiritual recalibration. It will reorient your beliefs, realign your boundaries, and reframe your worldview. What you thought to find your journey will now become the plot twist that elevates your story. This is not because of what's in you, but because it is my voice instructing, illuminating, and initiating. I know you've dug deep. You fought hard. You've prayed through nights when your voice cracked and your spirit trembled. And I've watched every moment, recording every tear, savoring every surrender, waiting for the hour when your readiness would meet my release. That hour is here. You're not just receiving a word of relief. You're downloading divine design. You're not just breaking through a barrier. You're being briefed into a higher realm. You'll come to see that every no, every delay, every desert season wasn't a setback but a setup for this very unveiling. This download will pull back curtains you didn't know were hiding the glory behind your grief. It will untangle knots that despair wove in your mind. It will synchronize your spirit with its assignment, aligning your heartbeat with my heartbeat. And this wiring shift, this reframing revelation, will cascade into every corner of your life. How you pray, who you love, where you serve, and the vision you carry. This is not casual. It's not for just anyone. It is sacred strategy dropped into your spirit, a code that only your restored identity can carry. Suddenly, the people you once feared, the places you once avoided, and the purposes you once doubted will align with clarity. Joy will no longer be a rare visitor. It will become your ambience. Courage won't just be an inheritance. It will be your atmosphere. Restoration won't just be retrospective. It will be your every breath. Because you're not just moving forward, you are being rerouted into new realms, new rhythms, and new revelations. When the download comes, receive it with openness, not hesitation. Don't analyze it before you allow it to anchor. Don't judge its worth before you let it transform. Let the truth settle. Let the revelation saturate. Let my voice rewrite the code of your soul. Then begin to see new patterns in the fabric of your life. Patterns of purpose, threads of grace, symphonies of destiny. And when you look around, You won't just see divine fingerprints. You'll understand your part in the masterpiece. This is not just a breakthrough. Beloved, it's a divine briefing, designed to rewire every perspective you've carried and remap what's possible for your days ahead. My child, I need you to lean in, not with leaning on comfort, but with unwavering attention. Do not brush this off. Do not dismiss what is happening as just another emotional surge or spiritual high. Far from it, this is a holy confrontation with your destiny. I'm not here to entertain your emotions, I'm here to awaken your purpose. I'm not presenting a passing moment. I'm orchestrating a sacred collision between your flesh and your future, between your past pain and your prophetic calling. What you feel right now isn't a flicker, it's a flame, and it's lit in a furnace of prophetic intention. The tones of heaven have colored this moment. They've spoken to the deep corners of your soul, and now your spirit is waking up to what has always been written for you. You may feel the tremor in your spirit, that uneasy stirring that says, everything is shifting. Good. That is what I want. Because destiny doesn't arrive in your comfort zone. Destiny barges in. It uproots you from the familiar. It demands everything of your faith. It confronts cowardice. It ignites courage. This is your confrontation with the thing you were made for. Your calling isn't going to whisper politely. It's going to roar. And with this moment, you're encountering that roar. You will walk differently after this. You will speak differently. You will serve differently. Not because you're stronger, but because you are aligned with what's holy. You will bear the weight of what you were formed for, and what once felt like pressure will now feel like purpose. Do not swipe past this. Do not diminish it. Do not reduce it to the emotional. Let faith rise inside you. Let your spirit sit up. Let your story shift from survival to sacred assignment. This isn't another encounter. It's your appointed intersection with destiny. Heaven's tension is low in the air. Don't dilute it with distraction. Instead, let attention rise. Let surrender refine your readiness. What stands before you isn't just an experience. It's an elevation. There are doors waiting to open that require more than proficiency. They require presence shaped by prophets, by promise, by prophecy. You are in that turning point now. Don't walk away unaltered. Don't treat this like it's just another day. It is the day your destiny finds its voice in your life. Child of mine, hear me clearly. You did not miss it. I know you stared at closed doors and echoing hallways, wondering if the opportunity passed you by. I've heard the whispers that try to wrap around your thoughts in the silence. It's too late. I waited too long. Maybe I misunderstood what God was saying. But hear me now as I thunder into that internal storm. I am the master of time, and no door I have written for you can close until it fulfills its divine assignment. What I offered for you is sealed in eternal ink. No mistake you made, no delay you endured, no detour you took can cancel what I have preserved. The enemy wants you to believe your window closed. But what he didn't account for is this. I didn't just preserve the moment, I preserved you for the moment. You thought you were being delayed, but I was divinely developing you. I was hiding you in plain sight while your faith took root in the unseen. I was wrapping grace around your identity so that when the moment arrives, you won't just walk through the door. You'll walk in as someone formed by fire, refined by silence, and crowned with perseverance. The version of you that prayed for the moment wouldn't have been able to handle the weight of it. You would have bent under pressure, compromised your values, or shrunk in fear. So I kept the moment waiting, and I kept you hidden, until both were ready to meet in supernatural timing. And now they are converging. The preserved moment and the prepared soul are about to collide. And when they do, There will be no more question, no more wondering, no more shadow of delay. It will be clear that what you thought was lost was merely kept safe by my hand. So don't mourn what didn't happen then. Rejoice for what's about to unfold now. I have not wasted your waiting. I have not ignored your prayers. I have not forgotten your faith. I've been preserving it, preserving you. The oil of every broken season is now fragrant with purpose. The scars you bear will shine as signs of survival, not shame. The moments you thought had expired are now resurrecting with new power. Even the ashes are speaking now, testifying that your story was not forgotten, but forged. So when I say you didn't miss your moment, believe me, your moment is about to find you because I preserved it, and you, for such a time as this. Beloved, come closer. Yes, closer still. This restoration you are entering into is not a simple refund. It's not a return to how things were. No, I am not just handing you back what was taken. I'm awakening what you buried. I'm breathing life into what time, trauma, and pressure tried to push so far down you forgot it was ever there. I'm not just restoring what you lost. I'm restoring what you forgot you carried. Hidden gifts, forgotten dreams, spiritual authority, holy boldness, divine intuition, prophetic vision, healing hands, warrior wisdom. These things were never lost. They were layered beneath pain. And now I'm peeling back every lie, every scar, every shield you built to survive, and I'm resurrecting what has been resting in silence within you. Do you remember the childlike wonder that once pulsed through your soul? The clarity of purpose you used to feel before life bruised you? That wasn't naivete, it was pure sight. I planted it there before the battles began, before the betrayal, before the heartbreak, and though life tried to cover it with fear and disappointment, my spirit preserved it like an ember in the cold. And now I'm fanning that flame. I'm not giving you new identity. I'm restoring the original one. The one I wrote into your bones when I knit you in secret. The world tried to redefine you, but I am bringing you back, not to who you used to be, but to who you always were underneath the wounds. The restoration will shock even you, because it will feel familiar. It will feel like home. It will feel like clarity rushing in where confusion once ruled. I'm returning you to your royal posture, your warrior sound, your prophetic edge, your fearless yes. Your tears will not just testify to what you survived, they'll unlock what you're stepping into. The mantle is not new, it's awakened. And as it rests on your shoulders again, you'll begin to move differently. You'll dream again without hesitation. You'll believe without bargaining. You'll speak with fire and walk in favor, not because you discovered something, but because you remembered what I put in you. And you'll know deeply, undeniably, that I never once forgot who you really were. So welcome back, beloved. Welcome back to the part of yourself that fear tried to erase. Welcome back to boldness. Welcome back to joy. Welcome back to faith that walks on waves and laughs at lies. The restoration is deeper than you imagined. It reaches into forgotten places. It calls to parts of you you thought were gone. But I am the God who restores completely, not just what the enemy stole, but what you laid down without even knowing. And now I return it to you, not in pieces but in power. Beloved one, pause here with me. Feel the gravity of this moment, not because something is being handed to you, but because someone is inviting you into an identity befitting the assignment etched upon your spirit from before time. What's coming isn't a gift, it's a transformation. It's not about filling a void. It's about forging a version of you strong enough, wise enough, radiant enough, and resilient enough to carry the mantle of your calling. You see, my love doesn't just give you what you want. It remakes you into who you must become to fulfill destiny. I'm not delivering another blessing. I'm birthing a becoming in the secret places of your soul, where your essence intersects with eternity. I know what it's like to reach and pray, Lord, let me have this gift. When deeper longing lay inside, Lord, make me worthy. But beloved, you don't become worthy by drifting. You become worthy through transformation. So I've been rearranging your inner architecture, sanding down pride, strengthening your humility, healing doubt, excavating courage, awakening vision. I've broken off the brittle parts of you so that when the weight of your calling arrives, you won't buckle, you'll be built to bear. This isn't shortcutting character development. It's bringing character cultivation before the commission. The becoming is as intentional as the blessing. And now, emerging from the refining, you're not just ready to receive. You're ready to replicate purpose, to steward what you once only whispered in prayer. You won't be the same you, just upgraded. It will be a new you, carried in grace, rooted in revelation, ready to step into realms that once felt too vast for your capacity. You'll move with courageous clarity, give with sacrificial strength, and speak with prophetic precision, because my voice has broken in and rebuilt your depth. You're not just the recipient of revival, you're the result of divine craftsmanship, shaped with precision, purposed in intimacy, prepared for your place. When doors open and destiny whispers your name, you won't question your readiness. You'll remember that you were formed in the fire of purpose, not polished for applause. So, beloved, listen, this is not about getting, it's about growing into the identity that matches the magnitude of what I've whispered over you. Stand tall in that truth. Stand firm in what's forming within you. Let every defeat you thought you carried fall away. Because the becoming isn't about who you were. It's about who you've been made to be. A mantle is not a trophy, it's a transformation. And my child, you are becoming it. Rest now in the warmth of this. I did not forget you. I never left you. Even when you thought I was silent, distant, absent, I was intimately present. I was not ignoring you. I was protecting you. I was not punishing you. I was preserving the purity of what I've destined for you. I delayed, yes, but not to break your spirit. I delayed to guard your glory. I delayed because some treasures must be cloaked in covenant until the vessel is ready. And I've been leading, loving, and lining up destiny while I waited for the season to strike the perfect chord. You felt overlooked. You've questioned my timing. You stood at the valley, longing for my arrival, while shadows whispered you'd been forgotten. But listen, every delay has a divine rationale. Your preserving took place in the pauses. I held your endpoints until the appointment was secure. I withheld revelation so your heart wouldn't be corrupted by presumption. I delayed blessings so integrity would be intact. I paused in silence so that when I speak, my voice will speak fullness, not fragments. I didn't forget you. I fortified you. Remember, nothing sacred is given in haste. And you, my precious one, are sacred. You carry a calling too delicate, too glorious, to arrive misaligned. That's why I didn't rush. I didn't rush you into promotion or it into arrival. I preserved both. Now the time has come. Not a minute too early, not a moment too late. You are being launched with divine intentionality. What goes forward from this place carries heaven's vantage, earth's compassion, and spirit world's strategy. It will take wisdom, not explanation, boldness, not bravado, purpose, not performance. So set your heart at ease. The delay was not you lost. It was you preserved. The quiet was not absence. It was preparation. And now, in this moment, my hand releases what was held back, what was waiting, what was written in eternity just for you. You are stepping into the fullness of your appointment, not out of impatience, but because my faithfulness never wavered. I didn't forget. I didn't leave. I delayed to ensure that the glorious destiny awaiting you is sealed in readiness and unshakable in its arrival. Beloved, hear me now, not as a distant God, but as the one who's been standing beside you since your very first heartbeat. The ground beneath you is shifting, yes. The winds are rising. Doors you've waited on for decades are creaking open all at once. And with them, movement is coming. Speed shaking, sudden acceleration. But in the whirlwind of change, let my voice become your anchor. Everything around you is about to change, but I never will. I will never waver. I will never alter. I will never abandon. I am not the God who walks with you in light and leaves you in shadow. I am not a seasonal savior. I am your eternal Father. And in the days ahead, when blessings pour and unfamiliar territory stretches before you, I want you to remember, I was the same God in the cave as I am in the palace. Yes, everything is about to shift, but not to confuse you, to bleed you, not to destabilize, but to establish. I have watched you remain faithful in famine. I have seen you praise me with a whisper when your spirit was shattered. And now I am sending movement, miracles, and momentum on every side, in every direction. What was stuck is now stirring. What was stagnant is about to overflow. But you must hold to this unshakable truth. I will never leave you. My presence is not seasonal. My protection is not temporary. My nearness is not determined by your emotions. Whether you feel me or not, I am. I am the God who is with you in the celebration and the solitude, in the triumph and the trembling. You do not need to chase me. I'm already here. And I am not moving away. I'm moving with you. Because the blessing will come with battles. The promotion will bring new pressure. The increase will test your identity. And I never intended for you to face any of it alone. You are not being launched into new levels to prove yourself. You're being sent with my hand, my favor, my angels, and my voice all wrapped around you like armor. When the spotlight tries to shape your worth, remember who spoke your name in the shadows. When the applause starts to echo, remember it was my whisper that kept you standing when no one else saw your pain. I will walk with you through every chapter. I will shield you through every season. I will whisper through every war. And you will learn, more deeply than ever before, that I am not just the God of beginnings. I am the God of every step, every silence, every surge. So breathe, beloved. Exhale the fear of the future. Let go of the anxiety that things are moving too fast. Let go of the trauma that taught you to brace for heartbreak. I'm not just flipping a chapter. I'm fulfilling a prophecy. This isn't chaos, it's convergence. This isn't randomness. It's revelation. And in the swirl of it all, my love remains the one constant, the one certainty, the one foundation. I will never leave you. I will never change. I will never let go of the thread that ties my heart to yours. And as you step into this next chapter, clothed in promise, dripping in purpose, surrounded by heaven's orchestration, know this: I go before you, I stand beside you, and I dwell within you. You are never alone, and you never will be. Everything is about to change, but I do not change. And I've placed a divine invitation in front of you, even now. This word didn't just reach you, it reached into you. But I want it to reach farther still, to the brokenhearted, the forgotten, the ones waiting in darkness. Through your giving, through super thanks, membership, or a gift through PayPal, you become the sower of this sacred seed. I said in my word, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Psalm 126:5. Your giving will not return void. It will return anointed, overflowing, guarded by angels, kissed with favor. You're not funding content, you're fueling the call. If your heart stirred at this word, then I am the one stirring you now. Give. Do it now. Not later. Now, because this is holy ground, and your seed is your yes. Before you go, beloved, I want you to seal this moment with faith. Don't let this word pass by like a breeze. Plant it like a banner in your spirit. If you heard my voice today, declare it below. It's time. I'm ready to receive everything. Your words are not mere comments. They are confirmations, echoing what heaven is already moving to manifest. Let your declaration be a signal to angels, a sound wave of surrender, a yes that breaks the silence. Type it boldly, with trembling if you must, but do it in faith. This is your divine moment, and it's waiting for your agreement. Now pause here and breathe. You've spoken your yes, and I have heard it. But before you move forward into all that I've promised, I want to draw you into something deeper. Because what I desire from you is not only your declaration, but your nearness. I don't just want your faith, I want your heart. Come sit with me for a moment. Let me speak into the stillness that follows your surrender. Let me remind you why I called you in the first place. My child, come closer. Before we speak of anything else, there's something urgent I must tell you. Something that has to settle deep in your bones before any other truth can take root. It is the first thing, the most important thing you must know, my unconditional love for you. Pause for a moment. I want you to truly hear me. Before the first mountain was pushed up from the earth, before I scattered the stars across the darkness like diamonds on velvet, my love for you already was. It existed, complete and perfect, waiting for you. You did not have to be created for my love to begin. My love is the very reason you were. And now, listen to what that means. This love I have for you has absolutely nothing to do with your performance. I see the weight you carry, that constant pressure you feel at your job to prove you are good enough. I see you measuring your worth by your successes and your failures, by the approval you get from others, or the silence you receive when you feel overlooked. You have come to believe, somewhere deep down, that love is something you must earn, something you must fight to keep. But my child, that is not my love. There is nothing you can do, not a single thing, that could ever make me love you more than I do in this exact moment. And there is absolutely nothing you could do, no mistake, no failure, no hidden shame, that could ever make me love you less. Do you hear that? Let it sink past your ears and into your heart. That knot of anxiety in your stomach when you think about the future, that constant striving to be better so you will finally be worthy, that is not from me. That is the world's way, not mine. My love for you is a relentless, pursuing, powerful force. Think of the ocean tide. It does not ask for permission to come in. It simply comes. It is constant. It is powerful. My love is like that for you. It will never let you go. Even when you turn away, even when you feel distant, my love is there, pulling you back home. I see you when you are joyful, and I rejoice over you with singing. In those moments, my heart delights in your happiness. But I also see you in the quiet of the night, when the unspoken tensions in your family feel heavy in the air, when you feel most alone. And even then, especially then, you are my treasured creation. You are the apple of my eye. This is not a pretty phrase, it is a fierce, protective truth. Understand this first, my beloved. Let this be the solid ground beneath your feet. Because everything else I am about to tell you, every truth about who you are and why you are here, is built upon this unshakable foundation. You are loved. Completely. Unconditionally. To ever. Now that you understand the foundation of my love, I need to tell you who you are. You have spent so much of your life wondering, searching for your identity in so many places. So listen to me now. You are not a random occurrence. You are not a cosmic accident or a product of mere chance. Your existence is not a mistake. Before your parents even knew you, I knew you. You were intentionally designed, piece by piece, by my own hand. I want you to picture a master craftsman, pouring all his skill and love into his greatest work. That is how I formed you. I breathed my own life into your lungs, and with that breath, I marked you with a divine spark of eternity. This is why you feel that longing for something more than this world can offer. It is the echo of my breath within you, calling you home. You were created in my image. What does this mean? It means you have a capacity for things that the rest of creation does not. When you feel a surge of creativity, the desire to write or paint or build, that is my image in you. When your heart breaks over injustice and you feel a fire ignite within you to make things right, that is my image in you. When you love another person so deeply it aches, that is a reflection of my image in you. Your unique gifts, the things that come so naturally to you, your sharp mind, your compassionate heart, the way you can bring laughter into a room, your quiet and steady strength, these were not given by accident. I placed every single one of them inside you for a specific purpose. Even the quirks you might see as flaws, the unique ways you see the world, I wove them into the tapestry of who you are. My original design was for us to walk together in perfect fellowship. Imagine walking with a trusted friend in the cool of the day, sharing everything without fear, without shame, in complete trust and peace. That is what you were made for. This is your truest identity. It is not found in your job title, which can be taken from you in a moment. It is not found in your accomplishments, which will one day be forgotten. It is not even found in your role as a parent, a spouse, or a friend, as precious as those roles are. Your deepest, truest, and most unshakable identity is this: you are my beloved child. Let go of the other labels you have been clinging to for your worth. They are fragile and temporary. But being my child, that is your identity for all eternity. Embrace who I made you to be. My child, you must understand that the world I created for you was not like the one you see now. It was perfect, a place of peace and provision, where our relationship was unbroken. But I gave humanity the freedom to choose. I had to. Think about it. Love cannot be forced. The relationship without compulsion is not a relationship that is oppressive. For your love to be real, you had to have the choice not to love me. And a choice was made. It was not a grand, dramatic rebellion at first, but a quiet, deadly seed of doubt. A choice was made to distrust my goodness, to believe the whisper that I was holding something back, and to seek wisdom apart from me. That single choice brought separation. It fractured the perfect world I had made. This, my child, is the origin of the sin you see everywhere. This is the root of the pain that marks so much of your life. The fear that creeps in at 3 a.m., the shame that makes you want to hide, the sickness that ravages bodies, and the finality of death. All of it entered the world through that one act of distrust. It created a chasm between humanity and me. Imagine a vast, deep canyon that you cannot cross. You are on one side, and I am on the other. I can still see you. I can still hear your cries. But you cannot get back to me on your own. The bridge was broken. This brokenness now affects every part of your being. It is why you feel a war inside your own heart, wanting to do what is right, but so often doing what you know is wrong. It is why your mind can be a place of turmoil and anxiety. It is why your relationships, even the ones you cherish most, are so often filled with conflict and misunderstanding. It is why you look at the world and feel a deep sense that things are not as they should be. That ache in your soul, that feeling of homesickness for a place you have never been, that constant search for meaning and peace, that is you feeling the effects of the separation. You were created for unbroken fellowship with me, and your spirit knows it is missing. This emptiness you feel is real. It is the chasm. But I did not leave you to face it alone. It is vital that you understand you are not fighting a battle that is only in your own mind. There is an adversary, an enemy of your soul. He is called the father of lies, and his only real power is in dissection. His primary weapon, the one he has used since the very beginning, is to make you doubt my character and my word. He's the one who whispers those destructive thoughts into your heart when you are at your weakest. He is the voice that tells you that you are alone, that no one truly understands what you are going through. He is the one who, after you have made a mistake, hisses in your ear that you are unforgivable, that you have finally gone too far for my grace to reach you. He points to your struggles and tells you that I am distant, that I am displeased, that I have forgotten you. He wants you to believe you are worthless, a failure, someone who constantly needs to prove their value. He will tempt you to find your worth in the most temporary and fragile things: the number in your bank account, the title on your business card, the approval of people. He wants you to build your entire life on this shifting sand, so that when the storms of life come, and they will come, your foundation will crumble, leaving you in despair. You must recognize his strategy. His goal is simple and brutal. He wants to steal the joy I have given you. He wants to kill the hope that is budding in your heart. And ultimately, he wants to destroy the God-given destiny I have planned for your life. That feeling of hopelessness that can wash over you, making you want to give up. That is his tactic. That suffocating fear that tells you nothing will ever change. That is his lie. You need to understand that you are in a spiritual battle. It is real. The anxiety, the division, the despair, these are not just random occurrences. But here is the most important truth you must grasp, the one the enemy never wants you to hear. It is a battle that I have already won. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from a place of victory that has already been secured for you. Even in that first moment of humanity's failure, in the heartbreak of that initial separation, I did not abandon you. My immediate response was not to turn my back in anger, but to make a promise. In the midst of the consequences, I spoke a word of hope. I vowed that I would not leave you in the darkness you had chosen. I promised I would send a Redeemer, a rescuer, who would come and do what you could never do for yourselves. I promised one who would crush the power of the enemy who had whispered the first lie. This was not a hastily made backup plan. It was my plan of redemption from the very beginning. Throughout history, I spoke through my prophets, and with each one, I painted another part of the picture of the one who was to come. I gave clues, whispers of hope carried down through generations. I told her where he would be born, how he would live, how he would suffer, and how he would ultimately triumph. I was preparing the world, preparing hearts, so that when he arrived, you would recognize him. His promise was a beacon of hope in a dark world. For my people, it was the assurance that the separation was not permanent, that the chasm would not be there forever. It was the anchor for their souls, reminding them that I had not forgotten them and that I was still at work. My child, you need to know this about my character. I am a God who keeps his promises. When I speak a thing, it will happen. My word is not like the empty words of men. It has power. It accomplishes what I send it to do. It does not return to me void. Every promise I made about this rescuer was a sacred vow, and I watched over that promise, guarding it through centuries of war, famine, and faithlessness, because my plan for your salvation depended on it. My love for you was so great that I bound myself to this promise, a promise to personally step into your history and make a way back to me. That promise was not just for the people long ago, it was for you. My child, I have shown you the chasm and revealed my promise to cross it. Do not turn away now. To stop listening here would be to acknowledge the wound, but refuse the healing, and it would grieve my heart for you to miss the greatest demonstration of my love that I am about to reveal. How could I bridge that chasm that you could not cross? I had to come to your side of it. This is the mystery and the miracle that changes everything. At the perfect moment in history, I sent my one and only Son, Jesus, into the world. He was not just another good teacher or a prophet speaking on my behalf. He was my very word, my essence, my heart, putting on human skin to live among you. He was God with you. Do not rush past the wonder of this. He who holds the universe together willingly left the unimaginable glory of heaven to enter your broken world. He chose to become vulnerable. He was born as a helpless baby in a humble, dirty stable to a poor, young family. In doing this, he experienced the fullness of your life. He knew joy. He laughed with his friends. He felt hunger and thirst and exhaustion after a long day's work. He also felt deep sorrow. He felt the sting of being betrayed by a friend and the pain of being rejected by the people he came to save. He understood what it felt like to be misunderstood and falsely accused. He experienced your humanity in every way, yet he did so without ever once giving in to the brokenness, without sin. He showed you that it was possible to live a life in complete trust and dependence on me, your Father. If you ever wonder what I am truly like, what my heart is for you, you must look at him. In Jesus, you see the perfect representation of my character. You see my compassion for the sick, my love for the outcast, my anger at religious hypocrisy, and my tender heart for children. This act, the incarnation, my word becoming flesh, is the single greatest demonstration of my love and my humility. I did not remain distant and shout instructions from across the can. I came into the brokenness with you. I walked your dusty roads. I breathed your air. I did this to show you, beyond any doubt, how far I am willing to go to bring you back home to me. When my Son, Jesus, walked the earth, his purpose was so much deeper than simply being a good man. His every action, every word, was designed to show you something crucial about me and the life I intend for you. He came to announce that my kingdom was at hand. Do not think of this kingdom as just a place you go when you die. It is a reality you can enter now. It is a way of living under my loving authority, a reality where you can find peace even when your world is in chaos. He was inviting you out of the world's kingdom, the one built on fear, anxiety, and striving for control, and into my kingdom, which is built on love, trust, and peace. His life was an open invitation for you to start living in that better reality today. You have seen what the broken world does to people. You feel it in your own body, the aches, the sickness, the emotional pain that leaves you weary. Jesus came to show you my true will for your life. He healed the sick, he opened blind eyes, he made the lame walk. These were not just displays of power, they were declarations. Every healing was a sign that I do not desire brokenness for you, but wholeness. Every person he freed from oppression was a promise that I want you to be free from the things that bind you, the addictions, the crippling fears, the cycles of negative thinking. His miracles were a preview, a tangible taste of the complete restoration that is available to you in my kingdom. He taught with a unique authority, and it was not the harsh authority of a tyrant, but the clear, life-giving authority of truth. He swept away the complicated, man-made religious rules that had buried my people in guilt and showed them the simple, profound heart of all my laws: to love me with everything you are, and to love others as you love yourself. And he did not wait for people to clean up their lives before he associated with them. He sought out the very people society had rejected, the outcasts, the broken, the sinners. He shared meals with them to show you, without a doubt, that my table is open to everyone, and no one is too far gone, too messy, or too broken to be welcomed by me. His entire life was a model of perfect trust and dependence on me, his Father. And every teaching, every healing, every act of love was a step on the path leading to the ultimate reason he came, the ultimate act of love he was about to perform on your behalf. Everything in human history, every promise, every prophecy, was leading to a single point in time, the cross. And everything that has happened since finds its meaning in that moment. The cross was not an accident or a tragedy. It was the divine intersection where my perfect justice and my boundless mercy finally met. My justice demanded that the brokenness, the sin, had to be dealt with. It carries a heavy penalty, separation from me, which is spiritual death. My mercy longed to forgive you and bring you back home. On the cross, both were perfectly satisfied. I need you to understand what happened there in a way that is deeply personal. On that cross, Jesus willingly took upon himself not just the idea of sin, but the specific weight of your sin. That secret you have never told anyone, that shame that makes your stomach clench whenever you remember it, that flash of anger, that word of gossip, that moment of selfishness. He took it all into himself. He who had never known separation from me felt the crushing weight of that chasm opening up between us. He felt the full force of all the pain and darkness of humanity, of your pain and your darkness, concentrated on himself. He paid the debt that you owed, a debt you could never have paid on your own. Imagine being in a courtroom, guilty, with a penalty you cannot possibly afford. And just as the sentence is passed, the judge's own son steps forward, pays your fine in full, and sets you free. That is what happened at the cross. He took your place. Please, my child, hear my heart on this. Do not ever believe the lie that the cross was a display of me venting my anger on my son. That is a cruel distortion of the truth. The cross was not me punishing him. It was me, in him, absorbing the full, terrible cost of your sin out of a love you cannot fathom. It was the only way to pay the debt of justice and still be able to offer you the gift of mercy. It was the ultimate sacrifice, the perfect, spotless lamb offered in your place, so that you would never have to pay that penalty. And in his suffering, in his wounds, he opened the only path for your healing and restoration. The cross was not a sign of my anger at you. It was the ultimate proof of the breathtaking cost of my love for you. If the story had ended at the cross, it would have been a noble tragedy, but nothing more. But death, the final enemy of humanity, could not hold the author of life. The tomb where they laid his body was sealed, guarded, and believed to be final. But on the third day, the earth shook, the stone was rolled away, and Jesus rose from the grave. This is not a metaphor or a hopeful story. It is the single most important event in all of history. His resurrection is the ultimate, undeniable victory over sin, over the enemy, and over death itself. It is my divine exclamation point on everything Jesus said and did. This victory is not just something to be admired from a distance. It is a victory you now share in. Because he rose, the power of sin in your life is broken. It may still fight and struggle, but its dominion over you is shattered. Because he rose, death has lost its sting. For you, my child, it is no longer a fearful end, but a doorway into my presence. Because he rose, the enemy is a defeated foe. He may still roar and accuse, but his authority has been stripped away. The resurrection is your proof, your absolute guarantee, that everything he said is true, and that all of my promises to you are certain. If he had remained in the grave, his teachings would be nothing more than the words of a wise, dead man. But because he lives, his words carry the power of eternal life. This is not just a historical event to be remembered. It is the source of your new life and your living hope today. I want you to feel the reality of this. The very same power that I exerted to bring the body of Christ back from the dead is the exact same power that is now living inside of you if you believe. This is the power that brings your spirit from death to life. It is the power that enables you to change, to break free from that destructive habit you despise, to forgive that person who wounded you so deeply, to find peace in the middle of a storm. This resurrection power is not something you have to work up or strive for. It is a gift, available to you right now. It is the power that transforms your reality and guarantees your future. The grave is empty, and because of that, your life can be full. Now, because of everything my Son has done, the way back to me is open. But I must be clear with you because your eternal destiny depends on it. In a world that tells you there are many paths that lead to the top of the mountain, I lovingly tell you there is only one way back to me. Jesus himself declared it with perfect clarity. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through me. I know this can sound narrow or exclusive to your modern ears, but I want you to see it through the eyes of love. If you were desperately ill and there was only one proven cure, a loving doctor would not tell you to try 100 different remedies. He would point you directly and urgently to the one cure that works. This is not a statement of exclusion. It is a loving and clear invitation to the only path that can save you. It is me making the way so plain that no one has to be lost in confusion. Your own efforts, no matter how sincere, cannot bridge the chasm that sin created. You could spend your entire life doing good works, being a religious person, trying to make your good deeds outweigh your bad. But the problem is not a set of scales that needs balancing. The problem is the chasm of separation itself. You cannot build a bridge of good intentions across that divide. You need a savior, one who could stand in the gap and be the bridge for you. That is who Jesus is. This salvation, this restoration of your relationship with me, is not something you can ever earn. It is a free gift. Think of it this way. You cannot earn a gift. The moment you try to pay for it, it ceases to be a gift and becomes a wage. My forgiveness and eternal life are offered to you freely, paid for not by your efforts, but by the precious sacrifice of my Son. Your only part is to receive it. This is the most important decision you will ever make. It is a choice that echoes into eternity. All of history has pivoted on this reality. All of my promises find their fulfillment in this one truth. The door back to me is not opened by your striving, but by his sacrifice. It is not found in a philosophy or a set of rules, but in a person. The way home is Jesus. He is the bridge across the chasm. He is the hand reaching out to you. And accepting this gift, choosing this way, is the beginning of the real life you were created to live. I have laid before you the path, the one and only way home, paid for at an infinite price. To turn away now would be to leave my outstretched hand hanging in the air. It would wound my spirit for you to see the rescue I have offered, but not stay to understand how to receive it into your own heart. So, what does it mean to accept this gift? What does it truly mean to believe? It is so much more than simply agreeing that these facts are true. The enemy and his demons know these facts are true, but their intellectual agreement does not save them. True belief is not about having all your questions answered or having no doubts. It is an act of deep trust and reliance, a transfer of your full confidence from yourself to my Son, Jesus. Let me give you a picture. You can stand in front of a chair and say, "I believe the chair will hold my weight." It looks strong and well made. That is intellectual agreement. But you do not truly believe in the chair until you stop relying on your own 2 feet and transfer your entire weight onto it, resting fully in its support. This is a picture of true faith. It is the moment you stop relying on your own goodness, your own strength, your own plans to save you, and you transfer the full weight of your life, your past, your present, your future, your sin, your hope, onto what Jesus did for you. It is a surrender of control. This belief always involves turning. It means turning away from your own way of doing things, which the Bible calls repentance. Repentance is not about groveling in shame or trying to beat yourself up over your failures. It is simply the humble admission that your way has not worked, that it has led to brokenness and pain, and making a conscious choice to turn around and walk my way. It is a change of mind that leads to a change of direction, turning from self-rule and turning toward my loving rule in your life. When this happens, a great exchange takes place. At the moment you truly believe, I take your entire record of sin and failure and nail it to the cross of Christ. In its place, I give you his perfect record of righteousness. In my eyes, you are declared not guilty and completely clean, not because of anything you have done, but because you are now clothed in the perfection of my Son. This is the heart of the matter, and this profound inner change will always result in a transformed life, not by your own effort, but by my Spirit working within you from the inside out. The moment you place your faith in my Son, I do not leave you as an orphan in this often confusing world. I give you a part of myself. I send my Holy Spirit to live inside of you, to make his home in your heart. He is not a vague force or a distant influence. He is a person, your constant companion, your comforter, your guide, and your counselor for the rest of your journey on this earth. I want you to understand his role in your life. When your heart is breaking and you feel a sorrow so deep you have no words, he is your comforter. He is the presence that sits with you in the silence, the inexplicable peace that guards your heart even in grief. When you are standing at a crossroads with decisions to make and no clear path forward, he is your guide. He is the gentle nudge in your spirit, the inner sense of rightness that points the way, the quiet whisper that says, "This is the way, walk in it." And when you are battered by the lies of the enemy and the confusing philosophies of the world, he is your counselor, the very Spirit of truth, who reminds your soul of what is real and eternal. He has a vital work to do within you. It is his voice that brings conviction when you stray from my path. Do not mistake this for the enemy's voice of shame. Condemnation crushes you and tells you that you are worthless. My Spirit's conviction is a loving, firm correction that says, "My child, this is not who you are anymore. Turn back. Come home." He is the one who leads you into all truth, illuminating the words I have given you in the Bible and making them come alive in your heart. When fear tries to overwhelm you, he is the one who will rise up within you and remind you of my promises, reminding you that you are loved and you are safe. Most importantly, he empowers you to live a life that is pleasing to me. You have felt the frustration of trying to be good in your own strength, haven't you? It is exhausting. That is because you were never meant to do it alone. My Spirit is the power source within you, and as you learn to depend on Him, His character, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control will begin to grow in your life, not because you are striving, but because you are connected to me. He also seals you as my own. He is my mark on you, my guarantee of the eternal inheritance that awaits you. Because of His presence, you are now a temple. Think of that. The very presence of Almighty God has made its home within you. My child, just as I have sent my Spirit to be your helper, He now desires to work through you to reach my other lost children. I see the desire stirring in your heart at this moment to share the comfort you have just received, and this is your divine appointment to act on it. Your gift becomes a current in the mighty river of my word, carrying this life-saving message to a soul drowning in loneliness. I have declared that it is more blessed to give than to receive, and today I will prove that promise over your life. As you sow this seed of faith, I will open the windows of heaven over you, pouring out a blessing you will not have room enough to store. I will protect what is yours, and my favor will be your shield. Therefore, honor me as I have honored you. Click the super thanks, join the membership, or give through the link below to release my Spirit's comfort to another soul now. The moment you believe in my Son, your status changes completely and forever. This is not a gradual process. It is an instantaneous, supernatural transformation of your very identity. Before, you were a slave to the patterns of sin and the fear of death. A slave lives in fear, constantly working to avoid punishment, with no real hope for the future and no claim to the Master's inheritance. But now, you are no longer a slave. You are a beloved son, a cherished daughter of the King of Kings. This is your new reality. A child does not live in fear of the Father, but in a relationship of love. A child does not work to earn their place in the family. They already belong. A child is an heir to everything the Father possesses. This is who you are now. I want you to stop and ask yourself, are you still living like a fearful slave, trying to earn my favor, or are you walking in the freedom and confidence of a beloved child? Because of what Christ has done, you are forgiven, redeemed, and adopted into my eternal family. Let these words wash over you. Forgiven means your slate is completely clean. When I look at you, I do not see the record of your past failures. I see the righteousness of my Son. Redeemed means you were bought back from the dominion of darkness, not with silver or gold, but at the infinite price of Christ's own life. You are that precious to me. Adopted means I did not just pardon you from a distance. I chose you, I drew you in, and I made you a full and legal member of my family, with all the rights and privileges that come with it. This means your past no longer has the power to define you. The enemy will love to bring up your past mistakes, to throw your old sins in your face. But you must learn to stand in your new identity. Your true identity is now hidden with Christ in me. Your past is gone, dealt with at the cross, and your future is secure. One of the greatest privileges of this new identity is that you now have direct access to me in prayer. You do not need a special ritual, a priest, or a holy place to get my attention. Because you are my child, you can come to me at any time, in any place with anything on your heart. You can approach me with confidence and boldness, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. You are my heir. Therefore, I command you in the gentlest, most loving way, stop living like a spiritual pauper. Stop begging for scraps of love, acceptance, and joy from the world as if you have nothing. You are an heir to the entire kingdom of God. The riches of my grace are yours. The fullness of my joy is your inheritance. Begin to walk like it. Begin to think like it. Begin to live like the royalty you now are. Now that you know who you are, you can understand why you are here. Your life is not a meaningless journey from birth to death. It is not a series of random, disconnected events. I want you to hear this truth deep in your spirit. I have prepared good works for you to do, a path of purpose that was designed uniquely for you from before creation. You have a vital role to play in my eternal story, a role that no one else can fill. You have felt that desire for purpose, that ache to know that your life matters. That desire was placed in you by me, and I am the only one who can fulfill it. Your primary purpose, before anything else, is to know me. It is not first about doing things for me, but about being with me. Your greatest purpose is not a task to be completed, but a relationship to be enjoyed. As you grow in your knowledge and love for me, you will naturally begin to bring glory and honor to my name. This does not mean you make me bigger or more glorious. I already am. It means your life becomes a mirror that reflects my character to the world around you. People will see my love, my peace, my integrity in you, and that will bring glory to me. Flowing from this relationship is your purpose to love others as I have loved you. I have called you to be my hands and feet in a world that is hurting. Your purpose is found in the simple, everyday acts of love. A kind word, a helping hand, a listening ear, a prayer for someone in need. You are to be a light in the darkness. Do not be intimidated by this. It simply means living as your true self, my child, in your workplace, in your neighborhood, and in your home. I have given you specific, unique gifts for a reason. That natural talent you have, that passion that burns in your heart, I gave it to you as a tool to fulfill your purpose. These gifts are not just for your own enjoyment. They are meant to be used to build up my family, the church. The church is a body and every part is essential. The body is incomplete without the unique contribution you are designed to make. Finally, your own story is one of your most powerful tools. The story of where you were and how my grace found you is a powerful testimony of my love and power. Do not hide it in shame. Your story of redemption can be the key that unlocks someone else's prison of hopelessness. Your life, my child, is brimming with divine purpose. Walk in it. I have not left you in this world to guess about my will or to navigate the darkness on your own. I have given you a guide, a light, a firm foundation, my inspired word, the Bible. Think of it as a lamp for your feet and a light for your path. In a dark world, a lamp does not always illuminate the entire journey ahead, but it always shows you where to take your next step safely. This is what my word does. It gives you the wisdom and guidance you need for the decisions you face today, keeping you from stumbling. You must understand, this book is unlike any other. It is living and active. It is not a collection of dead stories or an outdated rulebook. As you read it, it will read you. It has a supernatural ability to penetrate past your defenses, to discern the thoughts and intentions of your heart, and to expose the areas where you are not aligned with my truth. Because of this, I want you to change the way you approach it. Stop reading it like a history book you have to study. Stop reading it like a self-help manual to pick and choose from. I want you to start reading it as my personal letter of love and instruction, written from my heart directly to yours. It is my story, but it is also your story, showing you who I am, who you are, and what I have done for you. You are not left alone to try and figure it out. The same Holy Spirit who lives inside you is the one who inspired its words. He is your divine teacher. Before you open its pages, pause and ask Him for understanding. Come to it with a humble and teachable heart, and He will illuminate its truths to you in ways your mind alone never could. Let this word become the primary source of nourishment for your soul, just as food is for your body. If you neglect it, your spirit will become weak and malnourished, easily susceptible to the enemy's lies. Let my word transform your mind. Allow its truths to wash over you, cleansing you of the world's way of thinking and renewing your perspective to align with mine. Let it equip you. It is your spiritual armory, containing the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, and everything you need to stand firm and fulfill the purpose I have for your life. Cherish it, read it, meditate on it, and obey it. It is your lifeline. I have placed my Spirit within you and my word in your hands. These are the tools for our journey together. It would grieve me for you to accept the equipment for the battle, but then walk away before I can teach you how to stand firm, how to pray, and how to walk in the victory I have secured for you. Stay with me. Let me equip you fully. Now that you have my Spirit inside you and my word in your hands, I want to invite you into one of the greatest privileges you have as my child, prayer. Please, erase from your mind any idea that prayer is a stuffy religious ritual or a formulaic duty you must perform. Prayer is none of those things. In its purest form, prayer is simply a direct and open conversation with me, your Father who loves you and delights in hearing from you. It is the breath of your spiritual life, the place where our relationship becomes real, personal, and intimate. I give you this incredible invitation. You can come to me with anything. There is nothing too big for my power and nothing too small for my concern. Come to me with your hopes and your dreams. Come to me with your fears and your anxieties. Come to me with your questions and your doubts. You can even come to me with your anger and your frustrations. You do not have to edit your words or pretend to be someone you are not. I already know your heart, and I want you to be honest with me. I hear every word you speak, and I want you to know that I even hear the silent groans of your heart, the prayers you cannot articulate, the pain so deep that it has no words. The Holy Spirit Himself takes those wordless prayers and translates them perfectly before me. You are always heard. Prayer is the place where our relationship deepens. It is where you learn to recognize the sound of my voice and discern my leading in your life. It is where your trust in me grows, as you learn to lay down your heavy burdens and see my faithfulness as I carry them for you. You must also understand that prayer is not about you trying to bend my will to match your desires. It is about you aligning your will with mine. It is an act of trust where you come to me and say, Father, this is what is on my heart, but above all, I want your will to be done. Show me your perspective. This posture of surrender is what invites my power to flow into your circumstances in miraculous ways. Never, ever underestimate the power of your prayers. You are not just speaking into the air. You are speaking to the Creator of the universe, who is also your loving Father. Your heartfelt prayers can shift spiritual atmospheres. They can move mountains of opposition. They can bring healing and restoration. And they can change the course of history. That is the power and privilege I have given you. Use it. My child, I did not design you to live this new life in isolation. I know the world has taught you to be self-sufficient, and I know that sometimes it feels easier and safer to practice your faith on your own, away from the complexities and messiness of other people. But that was never my design for you. Think of a burning coal in a fire. While it is surrounded by the other coals, it glows hot and bright. But if you were to pull that one coal out and set it by itself on the hearth, its heat would quickly fade, and it would grow cold and dark. You are that coal. You were created to burn brightly in the community of other believers. When I speak of the church, I need you to erase the image of a building from your mind. The church is not a place you go to. It is a family you belong to. It is a living, breathing organism, my body on earth, and you are a vital, irreplaceable member. I want you to truly grasp this. As the body of Christ, every single person has a unique and necessary part to play. The eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you, nor the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Sometimes you feel like your contribution is too small to matter, or that you do not have what it takes to fit in. That is a lie from the enemy to keep you isolated. The truth is, the body is incomplete without you. It is handicapped without your unique gifts, your perspective, your story. You are needed. This family, my church, is the primary place I have designed for your growth and protection. It is where you find encouragement from others who can speak truth to you when you are filled with doubt. It is where you find accountability from trusted brothers and sisters who can lovingly help you stay on the path when you are tempted to wander. It is where you experience the unique power of worship when the voices of my children rise together in praise. It is the training ground where you learn to use your gifts in service to others. And most importantly, it is where you learn to love as I love, by bearing one another's burdens. This is the opposite of isolation. It means you have people who will celebrate your victories as if they were their own, and who will sit with you and weep through your losses, so you never have to carry that weight alone. I know that you may have been hurt by people in the church. My family is imperfect because it is filled with imperfect people who are still on a journey of growth, just like you. But do not let a wound from a broken part of the body cause you to amputate yourself from the whole. I am calling you to connect, to commit to a local family of believers. Do not neglect this gift. You are so much stronger together. As you live in this world, there is a hard truth you must face. It is a truth my son spoke plainly. In this fallen world, you will have trouble. That is a certainty. There will be times of pain, loss, confusion, and hardship. When these seasons come, I want you to be prepared in your heart so that you do not fall for the enemy's most potent lie. When suffering comes, he will whisper that I have abandoned you, that I am punishing you, or that I simply do not care. That is a direct assault on my character. The truth is, often it is in your deepest moments of suffering that I am doing my most profound work in you. Think of a goldsmith. To get the purest, most beautiful, and most valuable gold, he must put it into the fire. The intense heat is not meant to destroy the gold, but to burn away all the impurities, the dross that mars its beauty and lessens its worth. In the same way, I sometimes allow the fires of trials into your life. The heat is uncomfortable, and you may feel like you are being consumed. But my purpose is never to destroy you. It is to refine you. The fire burns away the impurities in your heart, things like pride, self-reliance, fear, and unforgiveness. It is in the fire that you learn to stop depending on your own fragile strength and to rely wholly on my limitless power. It is in the moments when you are on your knees, with nothing left in you, that you discover that I am more than enough for you. This process of refinement produces something beautiful and eternal in your character. As you walk through trials with your hand in mine, you develop perseverance. You learn that you can endure far more than you ever thought possible. This perseverance, over time, forges character. Your inner self is strengthened, purified, and shaped more and more into the image of my Son. And this proven character produces a hope that cannot be shaken. It is not a flimsy, wishful thinking, but a confident and certain expectation based on the countless times you have seen my faithfulness carry you through. I want you to know this, my child. I know your breaking point far better than you do. I will never give you a trial that is greater than the grace I provide to endure it. With every test, I will always provide the way through. And in those moments, When your heart is broken and your spirit is crushed, know this: I am the God of all comfort, and I draw nearest to the broken-hearted. When you are in pain, that is when I am holding you the closest. My child, as you grow in your faith, it is crucial that you understand the reality of the world you live in. Your struggle is not just against the visible challenges you can see. It is not merely against flesh and blood, the difficult person at work, the challenging circumstances, the conflict in your relationships. There is a battle happening in a realm you cannot see. Your struggle is against spiritual forces of darkness, against an enemy who is actively working to discourage, deceive, and defeat you. When you feel that sudden wave of inexplicable fear, that heavy cloud of depression, that overwhelming urge to give up, you are often experiencing the effects of this spiritual battle. The enemy's primary strategy is to attack your mind and your heart. He will assault you with doubt, causing you to question my goodness and my word. He is the voice of accusation, constantly reminding you of your past sins and failures, trying to bury you in shame long after I have forgiven you. He will attack you with fear, painting vivid pictures in your mind of all the terrible things that might happen in the future, trying to paralyze you with anxiety. And he will attack you with temptation, skillfully crafting situations to lure you back into the old, destructive patterns of sin you have been freed from. You must not be ignorant of his schemes. But I have not left you defenseless. You are not a helpless victim in this fight. I have provided you with powerful spiritual armor, and I command you to put it on every single day. This is not a metaphor. It is your practical defense. Clothe yourself in the belt of truth. Live in the reality of who you are in Christ, not in the enemy's lies. Protect your heart with the breastplate of righteousness. Rest in the fact that your right standing with me is based on what Christ did, not your own performance. Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of doubt the evil one shoots at you. Protect your mind with the helmet of salvation, constantly reminding yourself of the security and hope of your eternal salvation. And take up the only offensive weapon I have given you, the sword of the Spirit, which is my word. When the enemy attacks you with a lie, you must fight back by speaking my truth out loud. The name of my Son, Jesus, holds all authority in heaven and on earth. The forces of darkness tremble at his name. Speak his name over your life, your home, and your family. Your strategy for victory is simple and clear. Resist the devil, and I promise you, he will flee from you. Draw near to me, and I promise you, I will draw near to you. As we walk together, there is a matter of your heart that we must address, for it is essential for your spiritual health and freedom. It is the commandment to forgive. I know the wounds you carry. I know the names and faces of those who have hurt you, betrayed you, and spoken against you. The pain is real, and I do not minimize it. But the foundation for all forgiveness must begin with you remembering the forgiveness you have received from me. I have forgiven you a debt that was impossible for you to pay. Your sins against a holy God created a chasm that was infinite. The hurts that others have caused you, while deeply and genuinely painful, are finite in comparison. You, who have been shown such extravagant mercy, must now become a conduit of that same mercy to others. I need you to understand what unforgiveness does to you. Holding on to bitterness, resentment, and a desire for revenge does not punish the person who hurt you. It builds a prison of torment for your own soul. Unforgiveness is a poison that you drink, hoping the other person will die. It will choke the life out of your joy. It will block the intimacy of our relationship and hinder your prayers. It gives the enemy a foothold in your life, allowing him to keep you bound to the pain of the past. I love you too much to let you live in that prison. I command you to forgive for your own sake, for your own freedom. Let me be clear about what forgiveness is and what it is not. Forgiveness is not saying, "What you did to me was okay." It was not okay. It was wrong, and it was hurtful. Forgiveness is not forgetting the pain, as if it never happened. And forgiveness is not necessarily trusting that person again. Trust must be rebuilt and re-earned. Forgiveness is a legal transaction in your heart. It is you choosing to release that person from the debt they owe you. It is canceling their debt and handing them over to me, the only one who is a truly righteous judge. It is a conscious choice you make, an act of your will, empowered by my spirit. It is not a feeling, it is a decision. You may have to make that decision every day for a while, but every time you do, you are choosing freedom over bondage. Remember the grace you have been shown. Now, take that grace and extend it to those who have hurt you. The moment you release them, you are the one who is truly set free. We have just walked through the fire of trials in the painful act of forgiveness, and I know that was difficult. It would break my heart for you to endure so much, only to turn away now, before I can show you how my grace becomes your strength in the simple, daily choices of life. The deepest intimacy is found in what is next. My child, let us talk about obedience. When you hear that word, I know it can stir up feelings of pressure, of joyless duty, of trying to measure up to a standard you can never meet. I want you to erase that image from your mind. That is a religious distortion of the beautiful life I call you to. My son made the connection perfectly clear. If you love me, he said, you will keep my commandments. See the order. Love comes first. Obedience is not the way you earn my love. It is the natural, joyful response of a heart that has already been captured by my love. When you begin to truly grasp how much you are loved, forgiven, and accepted by me, your heart will begin to desire to please me. It will no longer be a have to but a get to. You must also understand why I give you commandments. They are not arbitrary rules designed to restrict you or rob you of your happiness. Exactly the opposite is true. My commands are loving guidelines for your protection and for your ultimate flourishing. They are like the loving warnings of a father who tells his small child not to run into a busy street. A warning is not to limit the child's fun, but to save the child's life. My instructions about honesty are there to protect the integrity of your relationships. My guidelines about purity are there to protect your heart from being broken and used. My commandments to love and forgive are there to free you from the poison of bitterness. Every command I give is an expression of my love and wisdom, designed to lead you into the most abundant and joyful life possible. Every time you choose to do things my way instead of your own way, or the world's way, you are making a powerful statement of trust. You are saying, Father, I believe your wisdom is greater than my own. I trust that you know what is best for me, even when I don't fully understand it or when my desires pull me in another direction. Each act of obedience, no matter how small it seems, strengthens your faith and deepens your intimacy with me. It builds a history of faithfulness between us. The world has sold you a lie about freedom. It tells you that freedom is the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want. But that is a cruel deception. It is simply slavery to your ever-changing appetites and desires. True, lasting freedom is found only in becoming the person you were created to be. And that happens as you learn to walk in joyful obedience to me, your loving Creator who knows you, loves you, and desires only what is best for you. My child, listen to me. Now that you are mine, I need to teach you how to handle the moments when you stumble. I want to set a realistic and grace-filled expectation for you. Even with my spirit living inside you, even with a new heart that truly desires to please me, there will be moments when you fall short. You will have thoughts, speak words, or perform actions that are not in line with who you now are, In those moments, the enemy will rush in with his favorite weapon, shame. He will tell you that you are a failure, a hypocrite, that you have failed me again, and that you should hide your face from me. I am here to tell you now that you must not listen to that voice. While it is true that you will still stumble, sin no longer has dominion over you. It is no longer your master. It is a defeated enemy whose power hath been broken. You are no longer its slave. So what do you do when you sin? Your first instinct, an instinct learned from a lifetime of living in a broken world, will be to hide. It is the oldest reaction in history. But as my child, you have a new and holy privilege. I command you, with all the love in my heart, to fight that instinct. When you sin, do not run from me. You must run to me. Run immediately. Do not linger in your failure. Do not wallow in guilt. Do not try to fix it on your own before you come to me. The very moment you are aware of your sin, turn your heart toward me. I have made you a promise, a bedrock truth you can stand on. If you confess your sin to me, I am faithful and just to forgive you your sin and to cleanse you from all unrighteousness. Let's break that down. I am faithful. That means I will always, every single time, keep my promise to forgive. It is my unchanging character. And I am just to forgive you, not because I am ignoring the sin, but because my Son, Jesus, has already paid the full penalty for it on the cross. For me not to forgive you when you confess would be unjust. Once you have confessed, which simply means agreeing with me about your sin, your part is to fully accept my forgiveness. Do not continue to carry the heavy bag of guilt that I have already removed from your shoulders. To hold on to guilt after I have offered you forgiveness is to doubt the power and sufficiency of my Son's sacrifice. Let it go. Receive the cleansing. Then, you must rely on the Holy Spirit's power to help you turn from that sin and walk in a new way. It is not about you gritting your teeth and trying harder. It is about you humbly asking Him, strengthen me in this area of weakness. Show me the root of this behavior. Empower me to make a different choice next time. And always, always remember this. My grace is so much greater than your sin. There is no failure so great that it can exhaust my supply of grace. Run to me. I am not waiting with a stick to punish you. I am waiting with open arms to restore you. My child, you have just been washed in the beautiful truth of my unending grace, and it has set you free. Because you have tasted this freedom, I know you now desire to see others released from the very shame that once held you captive. Your support right now becomes a key in my hand, unlocking the chains of guilt for another soul who is still hiding in the darkness, convinced they are unforgivable. Hear my promise to you. I am able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in this good work. This is your moment to turn the relief you feel into a rescue for someone else. As you sow this seed of grace, I will see to it that you never lack any good thing, and my provision will chase you down. Therefore, respond to my grace with your giving. Use the super thanks, become a member, or click the link in the description to act now. My child, we need to talk about the role of money and possessions in your life, because this is an area where the world will relentlessly try to deceive you. You must begin with this foundational truth. Everything you have is a gift from me. The money in your account, the roof over your head, the clothes you are wearing, the skills you use to earn a living, even your very next breath, it all comes from my hand. You do not truly own any of it. I have entrusted it to your care for a short time. You are a steward, a manager, not an owner. If you can grasp this one truth, it will radically change your relationship with material things and protect you from so much anxiety and fear. The world will scream at you day and night that your security, your identity, your value, and your happiness are found in how much you can accumulate. It will tell you that more money, a bigger house, a newer car will finally satisfy the longing in your soul. Do not believe this lie. Possessions can never satisfy the eternal ache I have placed within you. I must be blunt with you. The love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. It is not the money itself that is the problem. It is when you give your heart to it, when you trust in it for your security, that it becomes an idol in your life. Whatever you trust in for your ultimate well-being becomes your God. I love you too much to let you worship a false and powerless God that will ultimately fail you and leave you empty. I give you this loving command, which is also a promise. Seek first my kingdom and my righteousness. Make me and my ways your highest priority, and I will provide for all of your material needs. Because I am a generous God, I call you to be generous. Your generosity with the resources I have given you is a powerful reflection of my heart to a watching world. I want you to be a cheerful giver, not giving out of a sense of reluctant duty, but out of a joyful heart that recognizes how much you have freely received from me. See the resources I place in your hands not just for your own comfort, but as tools for my kingdom. I bless you so that you can be a blessing to others. Use what I have given you to advance my purposes on earth, to care for the poor and the vulnerable, to support the work of my family, the church, and to help spread the good news of my love to those who are lost. And finally, I want to free you from the tyranny of materialism by giving you an eternal perspective. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. Instead, invest your resources in that which has eternal value. Your true treasure, the only investment that is perfectly secure, is what you store up in heaven. I created you for connection, for community. You were not meant to go through life alone. Your relationships are not a sideshow or an optional extra to your spiritual life. They are one of the primary arenas I have designed for your sanctification, the process of becoming more like my Son. It is in the day-to-day interactions with your family, friends, and fellow believers that your faith is tested, your character is refined, and your love is made real. This is where the rubber of what you believe meets the road of how you live. The central command I give you for all your relationships is this: love one another deeply, from the heart. This is not a sentimental, fleeting emotion. This is a rugged, committed love. It means being patient with each other's faults and quirks. It means bearing with one another when you are annoying or difficult. It means covering over offenses with grace instead of exposing them with gossip. It means being a peacemaker, actively seeking reconciliation and unity, especially when it is hard. This kind of love is supernatural, and it is only possible through the power of my Spirit working within you. For those of you I have called into the covenant of marriage, your relationship has a uniquely high calling. It is meant to be a living, breathing picture of the gospel to the world. It is designed to reflect the beautiful relationship between Christ and His church, a relationship of sacrificial, unconditional love and faithful submission and respect. It is a partnership where two become one to glorify me together. In your family, you are to honor your parents. If you are a parent, your greatest responsibility is to raise your children in my ways, not just by teaching them rules, but by demonstrating my love and grace to them every day. Be a faithful friend, the kind who speaks the truth in love, who stays loyal in hard times, and who sharpens and encourages the other. In all of these relationships, you will be given countless opportunities to practice forgiveness, to show mercy, and to extend the same grace that I have so lavishly poured out on you. And you must understand the missional purpose of your love. My Son told His disciples, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." The unified, selfless love between you and your fellow believers is the most powerful and compelling evidence you can present to a watching, skeptical, and divided world. Do not underestimate the power of your love for one another. It is your greatest witness. My child, as you walk with me, I desire for your life to be fruitful. I want it to be a life that produces something of real and lasting value. My son gave the most beautiful picture of how this happens. I am the vine, he said, and you are the branches. I want you to see yourself this way. A branch cannot grit its teeth and strain to produce an apple or a grape. Fruit is not the result of the branch's hard work, it is the natural, effortless result of its connection to the vine, which provides all the life and nourishment it needs. The secret to a fruitful Christian life is not trying harder. It is abiding deeper. Abiding in me means staying constantly connected to me as your source of life, through my word, through prayer, through obedience, and through fellowship with my family. Your only job is to remain connected to me. It is my job, through my Spirit, to produce the fruit through you. What is this fruit? It is the very character of Christ being formed in you. It is the outward evidence of my Spirit's work within your heart. The fruit is love, a selfless care for others that mirrors my own. It is joy, a deep gladness that is not dependent on your circumstances. It is peace, an inner calm and wholeness that guards your heart and mind in the midst of life's storms. It is patience, the ability to endure difficult situations and people with grace. It is kindness and goodness, the active desire to bless others and do what is right. It is faithfulness, a dependable and trustworthy character. It is gentleness, a humble strength that is under control. And it is self-control, the ability to say no to your fleshly desires and yes to my Spirit. This is the beautiful harvest I want to produce in your life. The world around you is starving for something real. They have seen enough empty religion and hypocrisy. They are desperate to see this kind of authentic, supernatural life. The fruit of my Spirit in you is a feast you can offer to a hungry world, showing them the goodness and beauty of a life lived with me. But I must give you a loving warning. Do not confuse busyness with fruitfulness. You can be incredibly busy, even with religious activities, and yet your heart can be filled with anxiety, impatience, and pride. That is not the life I have called you to. The true measure of a life well lived for my glory is not how much you do, but how much of my character is seen in you. This fruit is the only legacy that has eternal value. It is the one thing you can produce in this life that you will take with you into the next. Focus on abiding in me, and I will take care of the fruit. I have shown you how to live a life that bears eternal fruit, but a harvest is meaningless without a home to bring it to. It would grieve my Spirit for you to understand your purpose on earth, but fail to grasp the breathtaking certainty of what comes next. Do not stop now. The end of the story is the beginning of your glory. My child, as you live out your purpose in this broken world, do not lose heart. Do not let the darkness, the suffering, and the injustice you see cause you to despair. This is not the end of the story. I am giving you this promise to be the anchor of your hope. My son, Jesus, is coming back again, just as he promised he would. This is not a fairy tale or wishful thinking. It is the certain and glorious conclusion to all of human history. You must understand, his return will be very different from his first arrival. He will not come back as a humble baby in a manger, born in obscurity. He will return as the conquering King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He will come on the clouds with power and great glory, and every eye will see him. He will return as the righteous judge of all the earth, and he will finally and forever make all things right. His return should not be a cause for fear for you, my beloved child. For those who do not know him, it will be a day of terror, but for all who belong to me, it is your blessed hope. It is the day you have been longing for, the day when your faith will become sight, the day your King comes to rescue his people and take you home. I have not told you the exact day or the hour of his return. I have kept that knowledge to myself for a reason. I do not want you to live in idle speculation. I want you to live in a constant state of readiness. Every day you should live with an attitude of hopeful expectation. I want you to ask yourself in the morning, what if today is the day? Let that question purify your motives and simplify your priorities. Let it embolden your witness to those around you who are not ready. Living in light of his imminent return will change the way you see everything: your time, your money, your relationships, your struggles. His return will mark the final, decisive end of all suffering, all sin, all sickness, and all death. Every tear will be wiped away. Every injustice will be answered. The brokenness of this current world will be swept away forever. This glorious reality is your future. So lift up your head, my child. Your redemption is drawing near. He is coming soon. Be ready. I want to speak to the fear that lurks in every human heart. The fear of death. The world sees death as a tragic, terrifying end, a final darkness from which no one returns. But for you, my child, I have transformed it. For those who belong to me, physical death is not the final word. It is not a period at the end of your story, but a mere comma, a brief pause before the most glorious chapter begins. It is not an end, it is a doorway. I want you to hear this and let it calm your deepest anxieties. The very instant your earthly heart takes its last beat, your spirit, the real you, the part of you that knows me and loves me, will be instantly and fully in my presence. There is no period of soul sleep, no shadowy waiting room. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. When Mama here, then Ev Malo. You do not need to fear this transition. My son, Jesus, walked into the heart of death itself, into the grave, and he shattered its power from the inside out. He rose again, holding the keys to death and the grave in his hand. Because he conquered it, death no longer has ultimate power over you. Its sting, the poison of its finality and fear, has been removed. It is now a defeated enemy, a toothless lion. It can roar, but for you, it has no real power to harm. Therefore, I want you to reframe how you see this moment. Think of your death not as a tragedy, but as a graduation. It is your commencement into the real, unfiltered, glorious life you were always created for. Think of it as a homecoming, the final, joyful return to the home your heart has always been longing for, the very place I have been lovingly and personally preparing for you since the moment you first believed in me. When that day comes, your earthly body, this temporary tent you have lived in on your journey, will be laid to rest. It will sleep in the dust of the earth, waiting the day of resurrection. But you, your spirit and soul, will be more alive than you have ever been. You will be awake, aware, and overwhelmed with a joy you cannot now imagine, safe with me in a place of peace and rest called paradise. This is not the beginning of a new life. It is the transition into the fullness of the eternal life that you already possess right now. The life you have in me does not start at death. It simply changes location and is freed from all the pain, sorrow, and limitations of this fallen world. Death, for you, is not a loss. It is the ultimate gain. I know that the idea of a final judgment can stir up feelings of fear and anxiety, so listen to my heart on this. There will be a day when all accounts are settled, when the story of humanity reaches its climax, and when every person who has ever lived will stand before me. It will be a day of perfect and absolute justice. For those who have spent their lives rejecting my offer of love and salvation through my Son, it will be a solemn day. It will be a judgment where all deeds done in darkness are brought into the light, and the tragic consequences of a life lived apart from me are made final. But my child, I need you to hear this and let it settle all fear in your soul, for you, who are covered by the righteousness of Christ. This is not a judgment of condemnation. Your verdict was already declared the moment you believe. Your case was settled at the cross. When I look at you, I do not see your sin. I see the perfection of my Son. You will not face my wrath because he already took it for you. Your final judgment is not a terrifying trial. It is a triumphant homecoming. Your judgment will be a judgment of reward. Think of it not as a courtroom, but as a glorious award ceremony. It will be a time of celebration, a time when your faithful service to me on earth will be brought into the light and honored for all of heaven to see. Every quiet act of love you performed when no one was watching, every prayer you whispered in secret for someone in need, every dollar you gave generously, every time you chose obedience when it was difficult, every cup of cold water you gave in my name, none of it has been forgotten. It has all been recorded, and on that day, I will reward you for it openly and lavishly. I see and I remember your faithfulness, your perseverance through trials, your love for me and for others. This will not be a day of shame for you, but a day of unimaginable honor. On that day, all things will finally be made right. Every injustice you have suffered, every wrong that was never righted on earth, will be perfectly addressed. My flawless justice will be revealed for all of creation to see, and every mouth will be silenced in awe. No one will be able to accuse me of being unfair. The story will finally make sense. So I urge you, live your life now with this day in mind. Let the reality of this future judgment purify your motives and clarify your purpose. Live in such a way, serve with such faithfulness, love with such generosity, that on that day you will hear those beautiful, life-giving words from me. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. The story of your salvation does not end with your spirit going to be with me in a disembodied, ghostly state. My plan of redemption is far grander, more physical, and more glorious than you can imagine. I am not going to abandon this creation that I called good. I am going to redeem it. My promise is this: I am going to make everything new. I will create a new heaven and a new earth. This is not an annihilation of the old, but a complete renovation, a purification by fire that will burn away every last remnant of sin, death, and decay, restoring creation to a state of perfection that is even more glorious than the original. It will be a physical, tangible reality, a world where righteousness dwells, where my will is done perfectly, just as it is in heaven. In this new creation, the brokenness that has marked your entire earthly existence will be gone forever. I want you to try and picture this. I will personally wipe every tear from your eyes. There will be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain. The old order of things will have passed away. Think of the deepest grief you have ever felt. It will be gone. Think of the most intense physical pain you have ever endured. It will be a distant memory. There will be no more hospitals, no more cemeteries, no more locks on the doors, no more anxious goodbyes. The curse of sin will be lifted, and all of creation will be liberated into the glorious freedom I always intended for it. It will be a world pulsing with life, beauty, and joy beyond your wildest dreams. And here is the most wonderful promise of all. In that new world, I will dwell with my people in person. The separation will be completely and eternally over. You will not just feel my presence in your heart by my spirit. You will see my face. The perfect, unfiltered, unbroken fellowship that was lost in the beginning will be fully restored. You will walk with me and talk with me in a way that is more real and intimate than even your closest human relationships. This is not some ethereal, ghostly existence where you will float on clouds. It will be a perfected physical life in a perfected physical world. You will have a resurrected, glorified body that will never get sick, never grow tired, and never die. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the entire story of redemption. It is the glorious end toward which all of history is moving, a homecoming that will make all the struggles of this life seem like a light and momentary affliction in comparison. Because you are my child, you are also my heir. You are an heir of God and a co-heir with Christ. This means that you are destined to share in a glorious inheritance. I want you to understand the nature of this inheritance that is being kept safe in heaven for you. It is imperishable. Unlike everything in this world, it can never spoil, decay, or rot. It is undefiled. It can never be stained by sin or corruption. And it is unfading. It will never lose its beauty, its brilliance, or its glory. It is perfectly secure, protected by my infinite power, waiting for you. The greatest treasures of this world are nothing but dust and ashes compared to the eternal weight of glory that makes up your inheritance. This inheritance includes the wonders of the new heaven and the new earth, but it is so much more. You will not just be a citizen of this new creation. I have promised that you will reign with Christ. This is a staggering truth. You, my child, will be given real purpose and loving authority, sharing in His glorious and benevolent rule over the new creation for all eternity. Your life will have a significance and a purpose that will never end. You will be entrusted with more than you can possibly ask or imagine. You will also experience a depth of joy, peace, and love that your earthly mind and heart simply cannot comprehend right now. The most profound moment of joy you have ever felt in this life, the birth of a child, the beauty of a sunset, a moment of deep connection with a loved one, is but the faintest echo, the tiniest foretaste, of the ocean of joy that awaits you in my presence. Eternity will not be a static, boring existence. It will be an endless adventure of discovery. You will spend all of eternity exploring the infinite riches of my grace, learning more about my character, and discovering the endless wonders of my new creation. There will be no boredom, only ever-increasing delight, new things to learn, new beauty to behold, and deeper fellowship with me and with all of my children. I want you to let this eternal perspective reshape your view of this current life. This brief, and often difficult, life on earth is but a prelude. It is the short preface to the eternal story of glory that I have written for you. It is a light and momentary affliction that is preparing for you an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. What awaits you is so much greater than what you are leaving behind. I have unveiled eternity for you. I have shown you the end of the story, your glorious, unending home with me. To see all of this, to feel its truth in your soul, and then to turn away before making the one choice that secures it, that would grieve me beyond words. Everything I have told you has led to the single, urgent, life-altering moment. What you do next matters forever. My child, I am telling you all of this, about my love, about my Son, about the choice you have and the eternity that awaits, because there is a divine urgency to this moment. You must hear my heart. Today is the day of salvation. This is not a conversation to be put off for a later date. I am speaking to you now, and now is the time to respond. I plead with you, do not harden your heart to my voice. Do not say to yourself, "This is interesting. I will think about it tomorrow," or "I will deal with this when I am older," or "I need to clean up my life first." Tomorrow is not promised to you. This life is a vapor. It is like the mist you see hanging in the air on a cool morning. It is here for a little while, and then it vanishes. You only have this present moment. The tenderness you feel in your heart as you hear these words, the stirring in your spirit. That is my Holy Spirit drawing you, calling you home. Do not ignore that call. Do not resist His loving pull on your heart. Eternity is real. It is more real and more lasting than the chair you are sitting on or the air you are breathing. And the choice you make in this short, fleeting life has consequences that will last forever. I tell you this not to frighten you, but because I love you with a fierce and holy love, and I want you to choose life. I want you to spend eternity with me. My Son's arms were stretched wide on the cross, a universal invitation to anyone who would come. The door of my grace, which He opened with His own life, is wide open to you in this very moment. But that door will not remain open forever. There will come a day when it is closed. So I am here now, knocking on the door of your heart. Can you hear it? It is not a forceful, demanding knock. It is the gentle, persistent knock of a loving Savior who longs to come in. He desires to have a relationship with you, to forgive you, to heal you, to give you purpose, and to bring you into my eternal family. The choice is now yours. I have laid it all before you. I am pleading with you, out of my great love for you, to open the door. I have laid everything before you now, my child. I have opened my heart to you. I have shown you my unconditional love that existed for you before time began. I have revealed to you the truth of who you were created to be, the tragedy of the brokenness that separated us, and the glorious, costly solution I have provided in my one and only Son. It all comes down to this single, pivotal moment. Right now, before you, are two paths. One is the path you have been on, the way of the world, the way of trusting in yourself. It is a wide path that leads to death, a spiritual separation from me. The other is a new path, the way I have made for you through Jesus. It is a narrow path, but it is the only one that leads to true, abundant, and eternal life. I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. With all the love in my being, a love that went to the cross for you, I plead with you, choose life. The choice itself is profoundly simple, yet it is the most important choice you will ever make, with consequences that ripple through all eternity. The choice is this: will you continue to trust in yourself, or will you trust in my Son? To trust in yourself is to continue relying on your own goodness, your own efforts to be a better person, your own strength to navigate life's challenges, and your own wisdom to determine right from wrong. It is to remain in control, to sit on the throne of your own life. You know where that path leads. You have felt its anxiety, its striving, its fear of failure, and its ultimate emptiness. The other choice is to place your trust completely and utterly in my Son, Jesus, and in what He has done for you. This choice requires three things from you. First, it requires humility. It is the honest admission that you cannot save yourself. It is the simple, yet profound, confession that your own way has not worked and that you need a Savior. For a heart filled with pride, this is the most difficult step of all. But for a heart that is willing to be honest, a heart that is broken over its own failure, this is the very doorway to freedom. Second, this choice requires faith. It is the faith to believe that His sacrifice on the cross was truly enough to pay for your sins, all of them. It is the faith to accept that you can add absolutely nothing to His finished work. It is the act of letting go of the exhausting burden of trying to earn my love and instead, with open and empty hands, simply receiving it as a free gift. Finally, this choice requires surrender. It is the most significant transaction of your life. It is you willingly stepping off the throne of your life and inviting Jesus to take His rightful place as Lord. It is handing over the steering wheel, the control that you have held onto so tightly, into His loving and perfectly capable hands. It is the prayer of your heart saying, "Not my will, but your will be done from this day forward." This one decision, this simple choice of humble, surrendered faith, will change not only your eternal destiny, but it will radically transform your present reality. It is the beginning of the real life you were created to live. We have come to the end of our conversation, but my child, this is not the end. It is truly just the beginning. If the winds of life blow hard and you forget many of the things I have told you today, hold fast to this one central truth. If you remember nothing else, remember this: I love you. That is where this whole story began. It is the thread that runs through all of it, and it is the unshakable truth that will sustain you for all eternity. My love for you is not a fleeting emotion. It is the very essence of my character. It is the most powerful force in the universe. And once you accept my love and become my child through faith in my Son, I make you this unbreakable promise: nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be able to separate you from my love that is in Christ Jesus your Lord. Do you hear me? Not your deepest struggles or your darkest doubts. Not the accusations of the enemy or the rejection of people. Not the highest height you could achieve or the lowest depth you could fall to. Not anything in this present life, and not even death itself. Nothing can sever the bond of my love for you. You are mine forever. So now, I give you these final instructions. Go from this moment and walk in the truth you have heard. Stop living your life as if you are an unloved orphan, unforgiven, or alone in this world. Begin to live as the beloved, adopted, treasured, and empowered child of the King that you now are. Let this new identity in me define everything about you: how you see yourself, how you treat others, and how you face your future. Let the reality of my love cast out all of your fear. Go and fulfill the unique and beautiful purpose for which I created you. Your life has immense meaning. Shine the light I have placed within you into the dark places of this world. Use the specific gifts I have given you to build up my family and to serve others. Love people with the same extravagant grace and mercy I have shown to you. And in all of it, in every joy and every trial, know this with absolute certainty: I am with you always, even to the very end of the age. You will never, ever be alone again. My presence will be your guide, my strength will be your support, and my love will be your home. This is not the end of our story. It is the beginning of our eternal journey together, a journey that will be filled with more joy, purpose, and wonder than you can currently imagine. My arms are open wide. Way has been made. The price has been paid. Come home. I am waiting for you. I have now told you everything, my child, and this truth is a living fire sealed within your soul. Because this fire now burns within you, I know you cannot let this conversation end here. You are now my messenger, and your gift is the seed that allows this same urgent word to be planted in the heart of another lost child who is waiting to be told everything. The harvest of souls is ready, and this is your divine assignment to become a laborer with me at this very moment. I give you this challenge now. Test me in this with your gift, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing so great you will not have room to contain it. I will rebuke the devourer for your sake and cause your name to be remembered. Therefore, go and sow into this mission. Use the super thanks, become a member, or click the PayPal link to release my word now. My child, this urgent word was spoken for this exact moment. Do not let the echo of my truth fade into silence. I am now listening for your heart's reply, your seal upon this new beginning. Therefore, declare it now for all of heaven to witness your choice. You have told me everything, and I receive it all. Let this declaration be the anchor for your soul and the first word of your new story. For your new life starts not with my final word, but with yours. Amen.